we very well could be seeing the end of this. Oh, this is close. Gotta dig deep. That might be it. It is. It does it. Anarchy popping.
It's such an honor to be here with my brothers and win the national championship.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
And nobody there for the follow-up or for a second toss. Oh, I thought it was over. It's not going to be. A cool now. Wolfa with the dagger. Ball State are your ECC champion.
The closing moments might happen. Deadeye just to hold on for a little while. Dead Lethal's able to get rid of CJ. This could be it. Every time clock starts to run out, Bentley runs out, but his Saber still get on. Nobody else is able to touch the point. And Illinois State, winners in Atlanta 2022. Soar high, Redbird, because you are CECC champions. You gotta go for it, buddy. But there is no more. Sage Clare College is your CECC 2024 Valorant Grand Champions.
Hello and welcome back to Esports U, where we got the East Coast Conference, the Valorant Finals getting ready to kick off here. My name is Vincent, joined by Catnator. And Cat, I gotta say, I haven't seen you on camera for a couple of months here. That's a sick background you got going. I'm just gonna say,
dude, thank you. I really appreciate it, Vincent. You know, you got the map in there though. So who's cooler at the end of the day? Who's cooler?
You don't know what's behind me.
Okay, but you said it. We got the grand finals. It's finally time. A regular season done, a playoff bracket dusted, and that leaves us with just two teams. Cut out the same group, nonetheless. We've got New York Tech, the Cybears, up against Utica Esports, the Pioneers. It's sure to be a good one, and we've got the best of 5 showcase for it, Vincent.
Yeah, I'm pumped, and when you're talking about the same group, it's crazy. Out of the same group that you get into the finals together. Like Utica come through this, they were dominant in the regular season, didn't drop a single game, and New York Tech, only game they dropped is to Utica, which I guess maybe gets a little awkward when you're talking about like a best of 5, but I think we got more to talk about what that looks like here in a little bit. I think what's most important for me though is that Utica, they got a chance. The chance for the three-peat right now. They won Fall 23, Spring 24, Fall 24. Anyone? I'm just saying a three-peat would be kind of insane if Utica could pull that off.
Yeah, legacy run looking to get cemented here tonight, most definitely. You mentioned, let's take a look at what this best of 5 is going to entail. We do have the map pick and bans. Map 1 going to be Utica's pick. They're going to Sunset. Map 2 from the Cybears, that's on Haven. 3 will be Ascent, again, Utica's pick. New York Tech picking Abyss, and then we'll finalize on Split if we are split 2-2 at that point for Map 5.
Yeah, and going deep into this one, I think the question is kind of how deep do we go? What is the form that New York Tech are going to be in? Because I got to keep it a buck. The regular season matchup didn't go great for NYIT. Yeah. It was a rough one. They got 2-0'd and they were not particularly close. In specific, Sunset, where we start, was incredibly dominant. I think there's some worries there for me.
Yeah, that 13-4, certainly a story for Utica against Farmingdale on the last bit as well. That was also a Sunset map. It was really plays from Pristine. 23-11 on the Neon, just could not be stopped. Could do kind of whatever they wanted to do, which makes me nervous for an attacking half coming from this team. I think your woes are definitely shared by me, Vincent, but you know, it's finals day, and there's a reason we play the game, so I'm willing to throw the stats out if you are.
Hey, I'm absolutely ready. Plus, New York Tech got Timothy Johnson on the roster, which means I don't know how you can lose with Timothy Johnson in the server. That seems impossible to me. But I think we can jump right into Agent Selector. We got Sunset first and foremost on the docket. And listen, I think for me, key for New York Tech, they need to come out not necessarily like swinging. They don't need to dominate or anything, but they can't get down pretty significantly early into these games, because that's something where the mentality can become a problem, can become the big difficulty. If you're trying to fight against yourself on top of trying to beat your opponents, that's an uphill battle, man.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think big points here are going to be Pristine not getting activated early, starting an attacking side, and then Timothy being able to do a good job against that Neon. I think that's going to be the big point for me, is seeing if Pristine can get matched up to by Timothy Johnson. If they want to play into the same sort of composition, they're going to have to do a lot of work on it. Just kind of waiting to see what the picks end up being for Util on the back end lockdown agents. We do get a slight difference here. We're going to get the Gecko to come through, excuse me. So Initiators coming out for this team of the Cybears. But everything else pretty similar. Just waiting for that JDL pick. I believe due to match history that should be a Cypher.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I personally prefer the Gecko here myself, but I think that we've seen, I've seen specifically Wizard play on this Fade before. I think this is also, a very meta pick. It's not like it's bad. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what Joey does, because the big replacement that you had coming into this year for Utica was that Anchor kind of stepping away as he graduates, and they bring Joey in, and I think Anchor fulfilled that same role. So was often on the Initiator, but specifically on on the Initiators on this map. I think played a really good game in the past. So as one of my first times getting to kind of see these adjustments as they put together a fantastic season, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Well, give me your thoughts on the switch of comp and Initiator between the Gecko and the Breach. Do you like the Breach more here? I think personally, I like the additional flash option and the brute force in terms of the ult. What are you thinking?
I think it's two sides of the same coin here, right? You get different things for the Gecko. I think that overall utility, there's just a lot more that you can do. But I think particularly setting up your XX and trying to play aggro on the defense is so much easier when you have a Breach. There's just so much easy options to initiate off the back of. I know it's in the name, but still.
We'll see what the case ends up being. Utica, you mentioned a chance to go 3-0 in terms of a tournament cementing run for them. New York Tech, can they get out to an early lead? Can they hold off what is this juggernaut of a roster? They've done so far. A contact came through, nothing piercing the veil, so Utica opting to flip the map.
It's a good setup for NYT on that attempt. That first initial move, like that, unfortunately didn't quite connect on the shots, and so the adjustment made for Utica to head back towards B.
Max going to give this space away. I like this call here. Just play retake. You have Neon, so you do have that extra rotational ability. You should get here a little faster. The timing should be a bit quicker. Make sure everybody's still alive. They got some low HP bars as well, and even lower now. As Max going to find the first. That's Pristine gone. Slide in for a little bit of distraction. As Akira will find the second in mid. So there's a lot of space here for this retake. And they're up 5-3. So good odds here in the player count. Good odds here for this team. And firepower, they're going to take a 2-to-1 trade. That's fantastic. Wizard got everything to do now from main. It's taken 2, but Akira with a clean shutdown on the opposing fade. That's a 3K pulled out, and the Cybear is up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like NYIT after the initial kind of swing towards the A site. They didn't necessarily come away looking perfect, but I think like you, I'm a big fan of just stepping back, making sure that you maintain semblance of control deep onto the B site and not being overwhelmed by the numbers. Utica finding themselves in a very awkward scenario where they couldn't quite get into post plants that they would have desired. You know, they took towards market, but it wasn't necessarily like completed, if you will. They didn't actually maintain that presence, and so once they lost those players, the guys on the site were just left out in the cold.
Well spoken. And Utica looking to blanket their way into A. Pristine to find the first. To try to dodge Lil Bro as well, but Timothy Johnson, work to be done, has picked up 2. Akira to find another. So the Guns going to hold strong here. They do lose 2 though, so you need the rest of this round to go pretty flawlessly if you're looking for a healthy bonus.
See how healthy that looks after the fact, because Utica by no means out of this, even though the weaponry would suggest maybe so. JDL does have some heavy hitting available, and Akira will go down. The smoke comes up, but that's not going to cover Akira. Not by a long shot.
Yeah, this is looking more and more dangerous as Utica continue to push. Now Plant going to go down, playing around Cage as well. Jadal, trip in hand, that's going to cost them their life. And a 2v1 for New York to try to cling back onto this one, but Wizard with the Spectre, do they have something to say? They'll find one, but the spray cannot connect for the second. Max barely wrestling this round back for the Cyber.
Man, but Utica did so much work there. They get this down to a 1v1, which is huge in and of itself. They get the spike down. There's just so much to love about what they've been able to put together. And now it comes back to what you were talking about a moment ago, where NYIT, they are, sure, winning. They won the last 2 rounds, but it's at a hefty cost. The price is high, and some could say too high, considering what they're going to be looking at this round. Honestly, I mean, considering what they're buying into here, yeah, I think the decision is like actually kind of half save here or go full all in. Like one or the other, and they're gonna go for more of a save.
Yeah, like everybody not even deciding if they want sheriffs into this round. That's how much eco tanks there from all those weapons that go down. So a round pulled out, but you certainly don't expect them to get this round. If they can get some value, that would be nice. Not high expectations here at all, I think, if you are this New York team. We'll see, though. Utica going to find their way into sight. Pristine good on the cross. Showing for time. Beautiful flashpoint to put him in the back of sight. Going to pick up 1. Almost enough for the second. Max does get a trade. But a lot to deal with on the back of the side. Henzo going to take them down. And that's room for Utica, who will continue to flood. They'll get 1 off of the breach util. Henzo to find another. In round pretty much over. Boredom. They'll see what they can kill here. And CT, nothing is the answer. Pristine's finished the job.
I want you to look out for that kind of 1-2 punch that we just saw come through for Utica throughout this series, where Pristine is going to be at the forefront. You know, obviously on the Neon here, that's going to be the case generally speaking, but Henzo, it's not super often that you're going to see, you know, the impact from someone on a controller like Henzo is typical to find, at least from what I recall, you know, seeing them last semester and into this semester. So that's a 1-2 punch that can be super reliable. And again, a little note where Pristine is not overstepping, taking a deep position where it's really hard to dismantle him, but also not overstepping his bounds and putting himself into a bad position.
Yeah, I think not overstepping really speaks to like the level that Pristine's been able to play this Neon. Because how many times are we seeing Neons get that flash in, grab the first, and gone? Next second, I'm sliding into that CT angle where there would have been two. Easy trade would have been established. If not, Max turning from the back of the site, Pillar picking that up instead. So really good wherewithal to hold that space. Forces the defense to do a lot more work. And I like that from them early. Tech pause for a moment, instantly back into it though. No worries there. Utica feeling like they may have a chance of the upper hand here. Gotta take this round and kill Eco again.
And they're showing no signs of stopping. Paranoia is going to be the only thing that can actually stall them out in any form or fashion. But set up for this for Utica. If they wanted to, fast snap towards the B site with the split play of sorts, then they could have done that. They might still do, as Pristine moves in, gets a deep position into market, and makes this very difficult now. Can cut off basically everything here.
It's a really good spot just against those rotations, as you mentioned, a chance to really be an issue.
What?
He's off to come back, and Timothy hitting a shot you never would have expected. Slide canceled straight into disaster for Pristine down mid. That's a trade back to their direction. Low HP bar on Jadal now gone. Sekiro will pick that one up in mid as well. The mid defense has been strong for New York IT. And Plant is going to come down here for Utica. A lot of work to do, and the Fatal's on the way.
Yeah, that Nightmare is starting to help out a little bit. Can maybe pop the overdrive too if it's necessary, but that doesn't even seem required at this point. Lizard fighting his way out, and Joey has that support. It's sort of a crossfire, and it's worked a treat into the 1v1, and we've seen these again and again. This time it's Utica, as Joey, the newest member of the roster, puts up a second round on the board.
Yeah, that one feels much more so just good timings and shots going the way of Utica. I wouldn't really say the util's out for New York IT there. The only big complaint I have... Oh, I got it. Oh, that's so crazy. That's so ridiculous. Good shooting from NYIT there in that round too. Utica just a bit better at the end of it. I think the Nightmare's fine. The only critique I'd have is I think it's placed just a bit too early. No one's really there to swing on it off of it yet.
I think that's fair. And unfortunately, NYIT kind of learning that the hard way. By the time they start moving in, they've lost a lot of that value.
Pristine overdrive out and has taken down Timothy. So hit a clean shot in them last round. A little bit of payback, if you will, from that replay we saw just a moment ago. Pristine not done just yet either. Still going to be patient on it. Prowler to clear this space early, and even waiting for the dark cover to clear to guarantee there's nobody hiding. Akira's going to get caught out. Henzo has Boredom back of sight. This round pretty much dusted.
Yeah, and I think Utica, you can definitely rely on them to have some incredibly strong executes, and that's a little bit of what we just saw there. Game plan at the ready from the very beginning, and utilize Pristine and how incredible they are on that more aggressive play style, and with the Neon, especially when they can get up in your face. The ultimate just makes that even more difficult to deal with. That overdrive makes it look simple. Nice shot out of Max, actually. Yeah. Towards the end, which, I mean, it's a nice to have, a little nice addition at the end of a round that really doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, the eco's just a little too much for that one gun to make too much of a difference, but if anything, a little confidence back. Hey, I can still hit my shots, regardless of how the round count does fall. Another rifle round on the way for NYT. They also are going to pick up max loss bonus, so should be able to get remnants of a rebuy out after this round, depending on what they're able to keep alive. But obviously the case for them would be hoping to win the round instead. They're going to put a lot of pressure onto A, so the defense is kind of shifted a bit. They did win this in pistol round, if you remember, 5 rounds ago. Looking to do so yet again.
There's that initial setup I was talking about with the breach and the fault line and what it provides. That's a nice way to open things up, though. Even despite the ultimate coming in, they still fight their way out.
2 Prowler trades there, so both fades on site. Neither one really sure where the other's at, though, due to near sights. Akira gonna find Wizards. That's a player gone. And it's yet again New York. When they take these contact fights here in A with player count, they tend to win it. This is the second time they're looking to do so. Timothy up close. Shots not going their way. Maybe felt the pressure of the observer on their POV. Jadal happy to have that one, and it'll be Utica walking away.
Yeah, but the fact that Utica allowed to walk away with the neural theft in as well, confirmation of information, is what that's going to give them at the moment. Even further, as they wait kind of at the mid border there, doesn't want to overstep and give away where they're headed, but they know what's going down. It's back towards B for the entirety of NYIT. Henzo going to get the spike planted, and in the meantime, coverage by Jadel remember, these disadvantages have been victorious for Utica one time before. This time, it's not even close. Akira grabs a third, so we'll put down that round quick as you like.
Yeah, good timing for the swing there. One market, one back of sight. It's clean, it's simple, nothing overdone for NYIT, and that was the one play I would have had 2 rounds ago for the retake. Is just timing not quite there. That felt really nice though. Those kills come at about the same time as well. And they get it back to 3-3. That'll help the econ a bit. Still having to figure out who's going to buy here. They have the overdrive to work off of, so I would expect this to be more of a retake round for the team. Obviously up to them, and I would not expect Utica to play nearly as hard onto A main. It's the one area of the map I feel like this defense has a lot of control.
They do, and it's because they kind of have set pieces, right? You know how you have an exec prepared for the offense onto different sites? It's this area of the map that, you know, NYIT are very prepped to take fights in every single round if they want to. And, I mean, just even off the back of that information, they're just going to continue to move forward.
Himothy taking a lot of space with what is just a sheriff, but of course there are players to back this up. Just hoping they can put enough pressure here to get this team to move. Hasn't yet. Still no. Space slowly acquired here from Utica. They want to take this fight, and they've got the first. They've got the second.
That's tough. Feels like they needed a more decisive play right there. Himothy just kind of hanging on to the ultimate. Gonna ends up swinging through, but that 1-for-1, that's not enough, Catnator. They can't actually get back through. The defensive side, that is, can't get back through with just that 1-for-1. This is a round that's lost, and honestly, I mean, NYIT, unless they get something for free here, I think walking away might be the most valid option that they have.
Yeah, I think with the where eco is for this team as well, that's probably going to be the better call to take 2 guns out of it. If anything, looking for exits, you can TP through this trip. It's just a lot to think about. I will say, I think Utica play that A main really nicely. I said I wouldn't want to see them fight it anymore, just the way they're losing it. TP straight into trouble, that sucks. Jadel, good job on the anti-lurk, has that one no trouble. And Max, well, do as you will. The rest of the team doesn't have anything anyway, so it's kind of what it is. One exit picked up, and that's certainly where this round's going to end. I like the way that Utica stepped back. They kind of let NYIT spell their own demise there. I recognize the fact that they play those set pieces, as you mentioned, but then they hold that extra space just so they can win the gunfights. And in this instance, they kind of feign the fact that they've moved to mid. They give them a ton of room. They recognize those set pieces are coming through. They can easy flash turn there if they want to push for more, and they certainly did. And that lets Utica just use what is a slight gun advantage to win that fight instead.
It's a little bit of conditioning too, right? Where, you know, Utica have walked away pretty consistently, you know, from that. So NYIT falling back on that thought process, thinking, okay, this is going to be the same. We've seen this before. Oh, actually, no, it's an adjustment. And it's that proactivity that I think Utica showing off right now, and in that last round, that's going to serve them well if they can continue to do that.
Fault line being held here, so Utica continuing to want to kind of dismount what has been the A pressure. I know there's usually a push off that first haunt. There has not been this time, so
I like this.
A much slower approach.
I like that they're not even worried about giving away that information, because they have presence all the way across the map too. So if NYIT want to, as a reaction, try and push somewhere else or take space on another area, they're ready to catch it.
Yeah, that lurk presence definitely going to be strong from players like Jadel all the way down to B main. Pristine finally taking this fight. One thing to note here, there's no util on this fight. This is a raw 1v1, and Himothy going to pick it up instead. Does get traded, but that one really just comes down to who's on the mark in terms of shots. Boredom alone on site right now. That forces them to throw the early nightmare out. Unfortunately, there is going to be the looks from the breach towards the back of sight, so that's going to catch them as they try to retreat. Akira, a lot to do here. Does manage to find a rifle. Prowler out to solve for some time. A lot of work to do for back of sight, and Joey not going to let it happen. Utica holds strong. They've got sight box. They've got a chance to plant.
Not a great position to play off of if things got complicated, but now it's all about Flux, who is able to dodge out the first round of utility, but a fake shrouded step is probably the best possibility that he has to try and adjust or make the move. Never mind, they've lined up for Flux, the 2-for-1 there as he gets it done. NYIT just getting these rounds, and sometimes in fashions that I had no expectation for.
Yeah, Flux really just doing a good job shooting their way out of that one. They were taking an extended fight as well. The moment they got sight box control for Utica, it was Flux sitting there on that angle, trying to spam through early paranoia as well, just trying to keep those players there. Never didn't want the fight, and certainly shows us why there. They do kind of line up. It's unfortunate, but sometimes at the end of the day, it's just who's hitting the shots, and in that instance, it's the Omen. So New York IT gonna find that one, still having to deal with these economic woes, and that kills their loss bonus as well. So they've got to cook in this round still if they want to keep a foothold in the half.
It's one of those good intentions for Utica that just fall flat, which is tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but fortunately, not a loss of economy in its entirety here. Kira actually opening up, and Timothy Johnson just on the move, able to make that neon sink. Almost a third, but Boredom is right there around the corner. So, adjustments that we've been talking about time and time again, NYIT making a few of their own.
I'm scared to play around this Neon. They've been the entire defensive half, and they are starting to come online with these shots. Easy paranoia to allow Max to finish the flank there on that one. NYIT deal with eco troubles by stealing all the weapons. Big ups to Timothy for making that one possible with a clean 2K off of just some crispy headshots. And I'm not, yeah, exactly. If I'm Utica, I'm not touching A-Man anymore. This guy's activated. He's getting work done with way worse weaponry. I don't want the smoke.
And they're going to send it in here with not the greatest of weapons or money, to be honest with you. Pristine, I assume, going to look to farm an orb here in a moment. One away from the overdrive. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Fight for that over towards B. Until they utilize that as their main approach to the attack. They have the Nightmare alongside it. So as the Prowler goes in, assume that should be following, but Pristine goes down on entry. Dismantled, doesn't even get a chance to get activated. Nor do you utilize that ultimate traits towards the site eventually, but Spike out in the middle of the open, and Hinzo just has to get creative.
I think the first 10 seconds of that push show you why defaulting is so important. So much util there for the defense there, since there's absolutely no default done to try to kill it. JLo gonna grab one, Timothy a trade, and Henzo somehow has brought this game into a 1v1. It's Akira on the flank. Timing's gonna be interesting here. You definitely hear the footsteps. So Akira has info. It's set to get the spike. It's a question of where does the Omen go once they have it. This is gonna make it harder, I think, for Akira here. Actually, has Reddit crazy.
Yeah, I was just about to say, bro. Akira has been on the ball in the right place, knowing exactly what's going down from the very start.
And that smoke gives it away. That smoke gives you that positioning for sure. You definitely see that travel. So there's some space here for the defense to really make a play. Henzo plant going to go down. You definitely know now. And if you're Henzo, do you have any idea this player's coming B main?
I feel like that's the only place I'm not thinking of is B main. But this is the right move. I mean, this space that Henzo's taking right now could be the ticket. Could allow him to not necessarily get that information, but just allow Akira to tap the spike and try to pull him out. So the lack of info not going to be punishing more than likely.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's played so far away that now Akira not quite sure either. That haunt doesn't cover you. I don't think you know. Now where Henzo's activated. This is going to be so close. This comes down to timing and such low HP. Onto this Omen. Here's the swing, and Henzo's got it. Repositions to the back of the site, dodges the haunt, and is able to bring this back to a tied game.
Henzo's so confident in his play right there, and I mean, that's what I'm talking about when I was referring to kind of a duo of Pristine and Henzo, what I was getting to see from this team previously, and that's why this guy just quite cerebral in the way that he's playing. I think you and I are on the same page with regard to how incredible the amount of information Akira was working with, how much knowledge Akira had about what was going down, and yet Henzo still outplayed them. And I mean, outplayed is maybe a strong word. I don't even know that Akira did anything particularly wrong. Henzo just making a great play.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to navigate the middle bit of that round with just 30 HP, you know, you cannot be seen a single time there because one shot's all it's going to take. It's fantastic stuff. Pristine, yet again, looking into, what is this, raw 1v1, really thinking they've got what it takes to take down Timothy. We'll see. Vision for both players. Both can use relay bolts to stall for some time, and a lane as well. Had to get Timothy out. So they've got info. They're gone. They do use a dizzy in this process, so and a Prowler, so a lot less util going to be here for NYIT to hold on.
That's what I'm thinking. A lot of resources expended for Himothy to get out with what is just a sheriff, I think, in his hands. It's really on boredom if this attack eventually goes through. Unfortunately, it's nothing seen for Himothy Johnson as Pristine takes him through the dark cover.
Yeah, trying to be cheeky with the Prowler there. Shooting at bodies, though, regardless. That would have been tough. The Tracers just give so much away through that dark cover. And so it's a lot of util killed to pick for Utica, and they're going to actually opt to try to flip the map. The issue is Jadal hasn't won the fight.
There's still players here, though. So it's not that big a deal, like, if Joey wins that duel, which he
That's
does.
still a 1v1, though. That one really just comes down to winning that 50-50 fight, too.
And honestly, maybe not even taking that 50-50 if you're NYIT. After you get that initial kill, just maintain what you've got. Henzo now on the lurk, on the flank, and this is nasty. His timing's going to be very nice.
Oh, it couldn't be better. Henzo happy to have boredom, and that's put NYIT into quite the predicament. Have to deal with the rat in the walls, and well, they've done so nicely. Pristine going to have Akira, though. And that's left Flux with everything to do here. Now, we did see them pick up a 2K to clutch out before. Can they do so again? The Omen's loving to clutch in this series. It feels so far. Cancel the reload. Took a knife out. Timing just not on your side there. If you're Flux, Utica happy to have the round. They've got the lead back.
I want to go back to this conversation about like this A main play and how aggressive that we're seeing NYIT initially, and I want to go back and talk about the adjustments made. Right, NYIT we're really talking of those set pieces and trying to play for all of this space, and these last few rounds they've actually kind of allowed Utica to make the first move. Utica then make an adjustment of their own and start playing contact, start making no noise, no utility initially, and that's all going to change once again here. As we try to get back into business with those faster maneuvers, and Himothy Johnson can't quite make it happen.
That concerns me. I think they did a really good job, and you mentioned it, of playing those set pieces to win early. Contact from Utica makes them feel like, okay, well, now I need to play contact too, and that makes me nervous for them for the future of this game. I felt very desperate. Fortunately, the half coming to a close here, which shouldn't really translate to the attacking side. You never know, though. Now we're going to come through just to guarantee this plant goes down. And they've got themselves the cheeky breach ult to use in terms of post plants. Looking really good for Utica right now. It's up to NYIT and this flank to have a big answer.
I mean, I think that's been a strength of Utica. Once they get the spike down, they're very strong. But Akira, timing all about this one. Ooh, almost lined him up. Doesn't get the kill there. How does Joey not go down? It's tough, because there's a lot more to do as dealing with 3 all at the same time, but the rest of his team falls in the meantime. Man, Akira probably should have had that kill into Joey, but talking about taking space and taking attention away, I don't think they could have done more.
Yeah, the issue, though, too, is the mindset of, well, I know most of them are main, so I really can't instantly shoot here. So I need to put multiple via trigger discipline if I really want to win this round for the team.
Right.
So you don't want to instantly shoot, but in not instantly shooting, it means you don't net that kill. So just two sides of the coin. Unfortunate, doesn't pan out. Utica gonna take a 2-round lead here. Taking a pistol could give them an inkling to start to walk away with this one. NYIT have been bouncing back. Losing the last 3 rounds is tough, but they've lost 3 before and then came back to go on a 3-1 run. So not to say it's out the woodwork just yet for them if they do start to pile rounds against them.
I think NYIT would really be nice to add a pistol here, though, for sure. And I do think that, boredom, less of a factor than I would have liked to see in that first half, but this is where I think the Gecko really does provide a ton of extra value.
I like this a lot. No one tried to kill that spike plant, even though it's on the wingman, just letting the whole team get here, and everybody gets out too. Everyone's just sitting in smokes there, so it's easy for the Cypher and the Omen to step out. That's going to give Utica a lot more resource for this retake, and you see that's the reason that trade can come through, because Henzo's still alive. A second picked up as well. Wizard from back a second to grab one, and Max nothing to do. There's too many players, and Utica going to pick up the pistol off of what is just very, very good patience from the players on site.
A lot to love. I think that Utica showing off a little bit of the same type of patience that we saw them have on the attacker side with regard to those A main plays. They know what their own win conditions are. They know that if they can just like hold on to some of that utility and then pile it in at the right time, they had the fault line to set that up. They followed in, you know, one by one rather. Not, you know, spaced well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All of those little details put together in a very nice fashion where Utica break off a pistol victory, as we'll split the pistols. Get them a little bit further.
Utica, a lot of A main pressure here. They do live mid completely open, minus what is one trip. But they've got all the extremities, so it's all good. You try to play up into mid. Okay, here's the tripwire. You try to play market. Okay, we've got 2 here. So certainly everything is still in a bow. Like you're going to get caught by a prowler here, and that's going to give Utica all this space now down by A main. So really, they've kind of put them in a kill box. NYIT have mid, but I don't think you want to be there. And they're learning that the hard way. 2 picks going to come through by the likes of this Omen Cypher duo. Big in last round, big in this one as well. Max under the trip. It's a bit high.
I'm going to be real.
He's not going to find much.
I don't know that I would want to have taken that. Like, obviously don't know if JDL's going to make that mistake twice, but on the off chance it happens a couple of times, I want to maybe save that for a gun round.
Ooh, you're referring to crouch under?
Yeah.
Yeah, but surely he just kind of goofed the placement.
Yeah.
Surely.
I would tend to agree. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Though I like what you're cooking.
But I'm just, I don't know, always trying to think
place
long
that
term.
one more time, buddy. Place that one more time.
Like,
when we flip the map later and suddenly I'm in your spawn.
Exactly. It's
Don't
like
be
I thought you had
surprised.
the trip. No, I did. What happened?
No, without a doubt, it's going to be kind of the round you'd expect, so there's not much commentary from us on it. Utica will take it. But I really do think the way they push that team into mid is insane and is the reason why Himothy is where they are right now in this round. Recognizing, okay, if we don't get mid control early, we're not getting mid control at all, and then we can't flip the map.
It's the illusion of choice.
Yeah, exactly.
They thought they made the decision only for it to be part of Utica's plan the whole time.
Yeah. A choose your adventure book that all ends the same way. They do manage to get mid control now, very late into Himothy's lifespan. Though, still, the fact that there were players double stacked into market, you're not comfortable playing into it, so they have it. This angle did not get checked, and Henzo's happy to have a freebie on the flux there. That's unfortunate. Max with a good trade, though. Another angle not checked.
JDL's still here, so it's not a free and open sight. Nice adjustment. It's quite difficult to make those moves, and Max will get away with one, but not enough time. And, you know, whiff on the shot doesn't feel good, but ultimately will be enough to buy that space for Utica to get the cavalry back into place.
This would be a great Utica timeout round. I know that sounds silly, because they've won the last 6.
Talk to me.
But that round just feels slightly out of balance from both sides. Himothy's judge play up mid, I think, threw that round into chaos. Like, we saw some sprays that we wouldn't expect to see go the direction they did. We saw some angles not checked from Utica. It's just a matter of, like, okay, let's take a timeout here before it unravels and just kind of make sure that we smooth sail the rest of the game. Now, if they do, and they button it up in just this freeze timer, I'm a fool, and that's fine. But I like to make sure, you know, nothing crazy happens as Pristine gonna grab the first. Himothy, yet again, feels very desperate. Just trying to find something.
Oh,
Ooh,
I think Himothy feeling the same that I do, that they've kind of lived and died by him too many times. And so, tries to make it all happen on his lonesome. And that is an easy mistake to make as a duelist, to be honest with you, but one that you can't afford to be making, as Pristine does indeed do it all himself. 4 kills into that round.
4 kills and would have had the 5th. I know you saw the placement of aim there. Would have had the 2nd
Yoink.
down A main as well. Yeah, teammate absolutely yoinked it. So I'm going to give him the ace. The pseudo ace. They're at 2011 right now. Very comfortable. 7th round 1. And yeah, they buttoned it up, so no worries.
I'm
No need
worried.
to freeze time for it.
I am worried about the NYIT kind of moves here.
Yeah.
Because I think desperation is the word you're using, and I can't say I disagree.
Well, I think my issue here is that it looks like, from the way they're defaulting, they have a very mid-reliant strategy. And I don't feel like they have the capacities to get mid from this team.
Well, I mean, that's one way to try and bring it back. It's pristine with the opener. They get aggressive, and Hinzo continues moving forward. This is Utica making some mistakes, actually, trying to chase when they don't necessarily need to. Granted, Wizard, that's a stupid amount of space that he has over here in B-Main, but this is going to just buy some time for NYIT to re-clear it. Not so much a victory position on the round.
All right, so the Cybears going to look to funnel their efforts in towards B. Utica will have 2 around, and the float of the Cypher thinks that utility means they'll get here quicker. It's really going to be a question of, can they get Joey FPS out of this site? They certainly should be able to. No matter of how long this breach going to overstay their welcome. Aftershock coming through does force that player to move, but Elaine going to be there to kill the vision. Joey's dead. Jadel here more than enough time. Back of site already going to trade that one. So Wizard Prowler out, still snuffed. Flux does a good job there to counter the utility and the player. It's a 1v2 now for Jadel. Has one already on the round for back of sight. And the fight with, oh my goodness, takes Flux far pillar, instant spray transfer to him at the Phantom Things. 4K on the round for Jadel. That's picked up. Utica match point.
Dude, I mean, that's a hard one. NYIT, they had it all. They had everything. They actually made a great reaction off the back of Pristine taking mid presence, and a mistake for Utica that I said has been rare, where Hinzo's kind of still there chasing that control that they've already lost. What a great idea out of NYIT, and for that all to go down in a loss for Jadel on a 2v1 there, that is absurd. Should never happen, and now it's 12-5. I mean, the Cybears, sure, they've got that stack of ultimates, but this is a long way back.
It is. The way back starts with 1 round. The next one sprung up now, round 18. Can the Cybears start to push the issue? Holding again for this heavy default mid. No extra extremities picked up for them just yet. Nothing in B main again. Utica going to take all this space. It's a relay to conquer Pristine. Timothy traded quickly, though. So Wizards there, and they've given the space back. So NYIT looking to take space that they're given. We'll see what they can do with it.
And once again, Utica just never passive. They're always active across this map. And now the Shadow's just going to toss another additional defender here on A. Over the top, that's the spike drop temporarily. Hinzo going to go down, though, as Max continues forward. Got to grab back the spike, because this 3-on-3 yet to really get started until that goes down.
Fault line here early. No one quite ready for it yet, so just going to disrupt for a moment. Maybe keep players away from positioning. Aftershock coming through, clearing close angle. Kira going to find one onto Wizard. Jada with a big trade. That leads us into a 2-on-2. This could be for the game. Akira to pick up one, and Joey looking to 1v2 it. Has taken down the haunt early, so won't get spammed through, and now looking to half this spike. Akira, you get the hold back. It is going to be able to convert, taking all that room there, recognizing the hold's coming through. They jump off, and they can't win the fight. Akira with a 3K to keep NYIT in it.
It's been big moments from Akira like that have kept them alive throughout this game, and finally a first round on their attacker side. And I think at this point it's sort of, I've not been mentioning it, but I think it has to be said, Boredom Kill's really struggling. I mean, 1 in 17 at the moment is just not where you want to be. And as much as we were talking about kind of the back and forth, I think, with the Gecko, you need to be a little bit more active. You need to be in the fight more in order to get that value, whereas the Breach can set back and set up the team a little easier. That's a problem for me.
Yeah, I mean, we could give the KD, some lacks if we had assist.
Right.
But we don't really have the util difference either. So, yeah, it has been just tough for the Gecko this game. A lot more value coming out this Breach. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Sure thing.
Max is going to take Henzo. Yeah, no doubt. Saw that one coming for sure. That bullet did what it wanted. Let's just say that A main will be the call for NYIT there. They have the pick, and so they're going to try to hit off of it. Pristine, a chance to do what Neon does, but Joey going to find it instead from the back line. That's put the numbers back even. Overdrive now online. A haunt to get a lot of info, but Flux going to shut it down before it can become disastrous. Do more on this close box angle as well. Akira is going to pick up the wall bang, and that looks to be NYIT in a good spot unless Jadel's flank has something to say about it. The trip gives enough info. Flux has the pick, and Wizard 1v3.
Gotta say, I'm a little concerned at NYIT's decision there to test the Bucky. Like, We saw it's a Bucky plus a rifle, and then they still went forward right around the close corner, but, you know, all good.
Yeah.
It ends in success, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Wizard teed up 1v3. Wizard been pretty darn clutch, to be fair. Had a nice couple of attempts at this thing.
Player not by sight here. Akira's peeking with no remnants of a trade. These players pretty split as well. This will be interesting. B-Man going to recognize, okay, nothing's on Spike right now. This is another tradeless fight on its way right now. This flank from the Cypher. Luckily, Wizard has moved forwards. That changes the story there, and Max is able to find it. So good positioning there. Good timing on the flank as well to make sure that they were going to have a look at it. If they did go down, Flex would be there, vice versa. So it's 5 rounds of difference between overtime at this point. 2 picked up for NYIT. They've got rebuy money. They're in a place where they can start to push it even if they lose player counts.
Oh, but even in those wins, man, I've just got these questions that keep coming to my mind. You said, you know, good positioning there at the end. Yes, but it took them a long time to get there.
Yeah.
And that doesn't provide me a ton of confidence.
Yeah, it's like it took a while to get there, and it technically could have been bad positioning depending on where Wizard goes with that one. And there's no confirm. Yeah, I definitely see what you mean. Pristine is in no man's land, and Himothy lets him know, you get to spectate for the rest of the round, pal. That's a picked up in the first 5 seconds, excuse me. That's way longer than I would have anticipated in NYIT. Just going to chill in the middle of the map here. Trying to see if they can get Utica to make mistakes. I'd say this is closeout syndrome right now from the defense. Feeling really confident. Just wanting to get the job done. If I grab this pick here in A main, game's over. Well, unfortunately, you're not grabbing it, and you've got no trade. So would like to see this team slow down.
Little mistakes, though, that don't necessarily follow onto bigger mistakes. That's something that NYIT fell into pretty easily. It's a reclear for main, and then they just walk away. But that's absurd. Himothy Johnson with a ridiculous shot onto Henzo through the dark cover. Honestly, just... sometimes you don't need luck if you could just make your own.
Very fair. Jada looking to do the same here in market. Picks up 1. And Akira again. It's that big name looking for trades. Joey going to pick up 2. And suddenly it's 2v2. There's 2 ults here. The AoE ults nonetheless will make it 1. Max has found 1. And a 4K will be needed from the breach to win this one. No ult to be used any longer either.
And the timer hasn't even started as the spike got knocked off by the Rolling Thunder. Time now a big factor.
Oh, this is a plant decision.
What?
Are you kidding me? Joey has it all. Boredom sitting there planting. A player that you mentioned was 1 in 17. Turns it around. Finds a second kill. Doubles their kills in the most pristine moment to do it. Somehow gets off Spike, hits the 1-tap, and this game is still going.
I mean, and that's the times that you need him to pick up the pace, need him to make those moves. If you're gonna get, you know, a couple of kills and a half, that's the time to do it. In the 1v1 up against map point at the outset of a BO5, I'll take it there anytime.
Pristine already down mid, has picked up 1. Himothy, no trade this time. Never mind. Has found it. So again, the Neon Duel won by the likes of Himothy. And it's Utica again. Closeout syndrome playing so far down, just giving NYIT these picks. Enzo does trade 1 back. They've got a resurgence of control here in A main. And Jado up mid, just the ghost in hand. And Himothy, a nice clean shot yet again. A 3K for the Neon.
I gotta stop giving him duels.
They gotta take a timeout.
Yeah, something.
Like, just slow. It literally is as simple as just slow down.
All these gun rounds have been Utica really trying to get up in their face. And to be fair, you know, I think that's a valid strategy in general, but they've been lacking the execution that had been so perfect throughout the rest of this map. And it's concerning for more than one reason, right? Obviously, the chance to claw this back to overtime, but even beyond that, this is NYIT getting the chance to build confidence, build momentum. Even if they lose this map, they're like, yeah, we were in it. We were making the comeback. They just had, like, 8 map points.
Huge from Henzo. That fault line comes out. They think they can just swing. It's just the breach there stuck in the end of util, but that's not the case. Henzo going to pick him up instead as they try to swing for it. Flux with a big TP to get some spacing. He's going to look to go back a sight box. As that dark cover expires, they've got no idea where this player is, but they have to hit both shots. First picked up A 1v1, an Omen duel. Both players have been huge before, and it's Henzo to pick it up, but no time for the defuse. A 4K from the Omen, but it's just not enough.
Another one of those close but no cigars type of situations, and Utica finding themselves there more often than not these days. 4 on the trot straight here for NYIT. The Pioneers, I mean, it's a struggle to close, but now it's just a struggle. You know, you can talk about that they had space, they were in position to take this away, but now they're sort of out of that conversation and into the, oh, they're coming back.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to the fact that like you start to relax a little bit mentally, which is why we see the mistakes of just how far forward they're playing. And then it comes into, wait, guys, they're coming back. Like, we got to stop having fun. We got to win the game. And it's so hard to switch your brain there because the Utica defense, I promise you, the mindset is, okay, it's time for the next map. Or at least it has been for the last 3 rounds. And now, as you start to realize, well, they win 3 more, it's OT. They've already got the first pick in this round. There's a concern, which is why I say a timeout would probably do them some justice.
And I think the biggest issue is that Pristine is the first one dead every round.
Yeah, because Pristine is so far forward every round. If you look at where they die in mid, they die far A main, this time they die in B main. They should not be there. And the reason they were winning defensively is because they were not there. Yeah. Timothy gonna find another as Jadal swings early with no support. Like, it leads to just the same thing over and over of we're really trying to do a lot here because we know that realistically, mechanically, I'd say they are a bit better of a team. But if you give them these easy shots, it doesn't matter.
No, not at all.
Like, you gotta respect the homies on the other side of the map. And they're in finals too.
Yeah, and that lack of respect being shown, I think, you know, you lean back on understanding that there's history here, right? NYIT, a team that got devastated in the regular season by Utica, so
right,
you can maybe understand that, but we're deep into this comeback at this point. It's 5 rounds in a row.
I don't think they buy here. I don't think they buy here.
You know, and the other key that Pristine is kind of missing when we're talking about how good Pristine has been all map long is it's been Pristine, absolutely deserves a lot of credit, but it's been a lot of setup that's behind that too, and that's the way you play the game. But we're not seeing quite that setup that we were seeing previously.
Right, it's just the attention to detail is definitely lax right now. Utica going to set up for B main. This is actually a great spot to be high load 3 wide.
Yeah.
And they've got to help market too. They've read this really well, or they've gambled it really well. Regardless of what the answer ends up being, they could just win at the roulette table here.
And that's a nice immediate frag. The fact that, you know, that's so instantaneous, you swing into 3 players and get one immediately, I think I'd call that a win. And I can't believe that they're not, like, moving away from this off the back of that information, though.
Well, they haven't made noise, so maybe the, just the bait of the rotate.
Could be.
Neon's going to move now. That dark cover not going to help their case. Though it could still be that lurk. The issue is they need to make some presence here over towards A, which is what Max is working on right now.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that presence towards A is, like, very difficult to try and force out. It's just the Cypher there with a lot of trips in position and a nice camera.
He's really got to break some utility. He's done so now. Only player spotted, though. I don't know if you move for Utica, recognizing that's just the Cypher. And they certainly still have not moved. It is going to be a look over, so they recognize this is the weaker side of the map still. Jadal's going to pick up 1. That's a tough loss to lose Max there. Player count not on their side any longer.
5 seconds. They've lost
forward.
this.
No time to plan. Game's over. That is so tough, Vincent.
Dude, I can't believe that's how this game
themselves.
Utica struggling to find the close, constantly working against their own selves in so many instances, only for it to be unfortunately NYIT that played themselves in the end after that attempted comeback. I mean, that hurts. I'm hurt for them.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's the fact that we mentioned Utica has been really doing whatever they want on the extremities. If they just hold space, Utica every other round there defensively was just giving them a pick. So they hold so long in B main on the thought process of, well, if we just sit here, someone's going to try to clear it out manually. They're not going to use any util because they haven't been, and we get a free pick. But that is just not the case there. Utica, they close it up. They play a lot smarter in that final round. They don't give anything away. And at that point, there's no thought process at all from the IGL there of, well, we need to take other space just in case. And that comes from so many rounds. What is that? 6 rounds in a row they win off of not having to take space anywhere else. So I definitely understand. But man, is it tough that they don't flip the map in time. They make a very late round call. I think it's like 20 seconds when they decide to finally flip all the way from B main to site. And there's just no time to plant.
I mean, they had the From the Shadows, and honestly, they did have the time to plant. They just routed wrong. I mean, just straight up didn't.
Pushing further into spawn.
I'm jumping into their minds here, but like that seemed to me like a classic. I didn't know I had the spike moment. You know?
Oh yeah, it could be.
So I mean, and I don't know if that makes it better or worse. To be frank with you, that being said, what I do know is that is a tough loss, but I think you can at least hold on to the fact, if you're in YIT, that wasn't even your map pick. You made that look close at the end, and now you look towards Haven, where hopefully you have a little bit more to provide, right?
Yeah, that's a good point too. The fact that Utica has had a fantastic season on Sunset as well. It's their map one when it can be. So the fact that you take them closer than any team has definitely says something.
We'll see if there's more to be said in YIT with Haven after this break. The grand finals of the East Coast Conference continue. Up one map are Utica as they try and put together 3 final victories in a row. With that being said, Kat, I'm going to keep it a buck. NYIT, they had it. They had figured it out for the most part at the end of that map, but a heartbreaking mistake will make them end that one early. I think Utica did the hard work to get there. They just needed to find a close. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings coming into Haven?
You know, my feelings are, for NYIT, it's 2 sides of the coin mentally, right? It's the fact that, well, 13-10, we got it very close, especially on a map where our opponent has been pretty dominant and their map pick. But the issue is, right, that it did feel kind of like NYIT got more rounds than they should have. See the fact that Utica was very lax with it, and the fact that that big mistake comes through, right? So now, can they reset in time despite those factors to then come take their map pick? That's the question as Agent Select kicks off.
Yeah, a question that I don't think has an easy answer necessarily. One thing that does have an easy answer, though, is Pristine. Had a ton of impact. He's the guy that coming into this, I mean, I'm looking towards as kind of the key to Utica. You know, he is at the forefront, the tip of the spear, all those classic descriptors that we like to toss out there. I think he kind of got overconfident there at the end, and I think that is an easy fix, actually, coming into him.
Yeah, I think so, too. Like I said, all I think they needed was a 1-minute timeout to fix half those issues. Now they just got like a 5-ish, 10-minute break. So they should be rejuvenated in that sense. That should clean up itself. And they get to play basically the same comp here due to the fact that now they're going to Haven. Very similar neon functionalities as Sunset. So I expect that to still look good for them. Now starting on the other side, though, we'll see what their defense looks like. Obviously, that's where they gave up the most rounds.
Yeah, and I also want to talk comp-wise, right? Like Boredom going over to the Breach as well, going to get a bit more of a mirror, at least from what it looks like and what is pretty usual here. I'm curious. I think that, for me, as much as probably one to forget for Boredom, that was a map of Valorant that is just can't happen twice in a series, genuinely.
Yeah.
Not in a grand final. Like, we've all been there. It's not a moment where I'm trying to pile on, but as a viewer, it's just a difficult situation where you have to be doing a little bit better than that. And I'm hoping that that's going to be the case here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's pressure, what these guys are capable of firsthand and throughout the bracket thus far and throughout the bracket in the past as well. How good this opponent is in this conference. So I think there's pressure there. But, you got through game 1. You got to shake it off. Had a big moment, at least, to go back to in game 1, getting off Spike, managing to find the headshot to keep the team at a chance where they could have maybe pushed that to match point. So some moments for the Initiator now to try to play into Joey, who had a lot of impact on the Breach. You've got to try to find a way to have that same sort of value for your team here.
We're going to get things rocking and rolling with that. Utica defensively going to kick things off with some mid-presence by the look of things. In fact, they're ready to fight so aggressively for the fault line to push Max back. And, Max is going to be entirely routed out of this. All of that utility, though, should, at least I would have thought, made NYIT just snap towards A. They've kept it slow.
Do manage to get that early contact from Pristine sorted. I was concerned for both sides there. If that did become a duel, whoever won that one was going to be very telling of what the rest of this half was going to look like. But it does end up being still a calm 5-5. Yeah, as you mentioned, default much calmer on A than I think you would have expected to after that contact. Now they slowly look to push their way forward. Really, I feel like they're waiting for this lurk to come through, trying to pull a player away. But the timing's going to be awkward here.
They found the cam in garage, so maybe that's enough. It looks like they're hitting the go button.
Yeah, they got to go now. Yeah, 100%. After that dark cover comes through. Wizard on the close angle. Good counter to the teammate. Jadel able to find that one. Hell, no trouble. And now it's Wizard's turn. It's picked up 2. Henzo around for a trade. So Boredom will get the site and not much more after that first pick. That leaves Max now back from the lurk and straight into trouble. Coming down sewer and, well, ratted out. Pristine has it. It's 1-0 for Utica.
Am I crazy? Did that fault line look like it should have hit Wizard? Who's
I
tucked in
don't
the
speak
corner?
on this.
No? Okay.
I don't speak on this.
Didn't see. Oh, good. Maybe I am crazy.
I've blinked really hard, so.
All right, fair enough. I just don't blink. You know, it's probably bad for my eyes. That's probably why I can't see.
Probably really good for casting.
That's what I'm saying.
Never missed anything. Well, shouldn't you know then if you don't blink?
Well, I mean, I saw what I saw. I'm asking if you saw the same thing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, you'll see me in just a moment. Tech Boss on the way. Anything that you want to take out of the pistol round?
I mean, I think we can kind of go back to talk about some of the positives from the last map. I think that Utica showed some really strong executes, and honestly, I liked what NYIT put together. I thought that was, you know, outside of the pacing being a little bit weird, I thought they waited a little longer than I would have thought based on the information that they had gotten early. I think their execute looked good. There was just so many pioneers available. Like, you're running into 3 players. That's just going to be hard no matter what.
Yeah, but I mean, doesn't that come into the fact that the default is so heavy A-lean that those 3 players can confidently sit on A?
I mean, it's the space they got at mid. That's the answer for me.
Yeah. Aftershock dealt with cleanly. Boredom so early on the plan, able to get that down and get away. Pristine to pick up 2, Henzo another. Really, they got what they wanted. They just wanted to plant. They got it. All good. Boredom, see you later. Everybody dead. Defuse on the way. Flawless round for Utica. They like that a lot. It's going to go to the bonus. But really, that round goes about what you would have expected it to. It's a B plan on Haven.
I'm of 2 minds right now, Kat, because on the one hand, I'm really happy to see Utica playing with the amount of confidence that they are. You know, getting close on Sunset doesn't seem to have changed anything for them. At the same time, I'm a little concerned that didn't change anything for them. You know what I mean? Like, sort of two sides of the same coin, if you will, because that confidence can be good, but we saw what it can also lead to on Sunset.
Yeah. I hear you. And we will see. It's going to be Pristine yet again, looking for a deep angle. Teammates Dark Cover kind of snuffing him out here, unless they play through, which they certainly will not. So it's mid, pretty open for the Cybears. They're going to look to expunge their way into it. It'll be Akira with this drone. Henzo having to step away. That's Tripwire dealt with as well. Pristine is going to pick up that look from Max. So the lurk dealt with. That's going to be interesting. Flex to trade back there as Henzo tries to reclaim garage control. Jadal a chance to spray them all, but Boredom late into garage. Actually there to save the team.
I mean, that's crucial. Turns around at the wrong time, but he still stays alive, and that's all that matters, truly. So as we get a little lineup towards the retake dart. Get something off the back of that. Okay, Joey with the support from downtown. Bucks will trade. It's 2-on-3 now, just down to Joey. And they got this one on consistently. NYIT didn't even make any moves. Didn't have to adjust out of the sight even to hold back that retake.
Yeah, they do a good job of keeping weaponry for the most part alive as well. Just going to be 2 players figuring it out here. Flex should be able to buy 1. And Akira the other as well, as long as Util is bought, which it looks like it already was. So everyone with guns still in this one for the Cybears. Utica back to into rifles now as well. So a little late is this gun round, but it is going to come through, and we will see the implications as NYIT want to go back to this heavy A-lean.
Bit of a puzzling decision last round from Henzo to Paranoia back in, like, immediately. There's not a lot of coverage there. There's a lot of space where that Paranoia isn't going to be effective, so gets punished for it. That's the other side of that coin I was just talking about with regard to confidence.
Still no real pressure anywhere else on the map. It's just, this default worries me because it does feel very reminiscent of what was that final round default of somebody surely is going to make a mistake and then I can push. It's more reactive than it should be. I think a default should be much more proactive. So they're just going to try to force the issue contact yet again. And there's a lot of util here because they haven't really shown themselves in the default yet. They have no reason to use util. It's going to be trades 1 out for Utica, who have been, I'd argue, better mechanically throughout the series thus far. Joey to pick up another on site. That spike down, and now you leave your lurk to try to do it all yet again.
And this lurk and Max has got a lot to handle. First and foremost, got to recover a weapon. That's just been done. So at least a little upgrade there. Hinzo, it's an off angle in front of the smoke that, I mean, makes life just so difficult for Max. Return to the
that was a
dark
chance.
cover.
Oh.
Ooh, man. Dude, timing is crazy there.
No more charges left. I have retrieved the spike.
Spikes here. No additional K's, trying to jump out to find Joey, but he's too locked down. 3K picked up for the breach. A third round picked up for Utica.
I think I'm
Talk
with
to me
you.
about the default.
Yeah,
Talk to me about it.
I was thinking on the points you're bringing up and kind of like where I'm at, and I don't disagree with you. I think that NYIT right now, very clear about their intentions, and that isn't always a problem, especially if you want to, you know, have bodies to take the space, to take contact, right? So if there's an aggressive play from Utica at A, for example, you can deal with it as effectively as possible, but when there's not a second phase to that, it's scary.
Yeah. So we get a new look here, but it feels very similar still. Overdrive came through. Pristine's not going to find anything here. This will wrap the ult, which is nice at the very least. But it's again like holding strong into mid, looking for something. They're going to try to push Garage here. So I like to see Max moving forward instead. It's felt like Max has been kind of last leg of each map because they're not really pushing forward the lurk. But they're going to look to play a bit more proactive here. I like the change we're seeing from the side bears. It's a question of what they can do with it. Double drone coming out. Wizard going to get caught. Wallbang time! And there's bullets there. 56 as the HP bar left.
Nice movement, though. That escape was by no means a guarantee.
For sure. Ooh, Pristine gonna find a crispy head. No more than that though. Max a trade. Let's put us at 4 and 4. New York still doing a good job of getting space into Garage. They've got themselves even more. Now they can cross the site. Plant's gonna come down here. It's a matter of holding on.
Oh, and I'm a little worried. Utica, they're all coming from the same angle. They're coming from CT side. Everybody's sending it in. Oh, the adjustment for Blocks. He's grabbed a third. Blocks, oh my goodness. He's got 3, and that is one way to shut down the Utica retake. Those worries I had seeming founded at the end.
They do a fantastic job of throwing that paranoia too. So Flux from back of sight, able to guarantee 2 trades aren't going to come through. 2 people jump in front of the paranoia. It guarantees you're splitting that retake up, as everyone has to kind of make that conscious decision of, am I going forward, am I going backwards? And it's easy there for Flux to pick up too with the help of teammates on site. I like that adjustment a lot. A much better mid-round from New York. I want to keep seeing that from them as Utica is just coming down mid with Sheriffs.
I want to talk about a detail there too. I love that they aren't worried about the Neon so aggressive up C-Long. Like, broke the trip and everything, and nobody's like worried. Nobody's overreacting. I think that's what's super encouraging.
For sure, not letting that chaos get to them. It's a rifle given to Utica here as a 5-man stack down mid has had some merit. Info TP perhaps? It does look like such. Nothing CT. Actually going to hold on to it as Boredom will find Pristine. So that's the rifle now killed. I'm pretty sure that's the rifle at least. We'll see. That's everybody else going down to the likes of rifles here. Even full flash, Boredom still picks it up. It's 3-3.
Yeah, and I mean, this is that conversation we were having, Kat, where I'm so excited that Boredom is like picking up the pace here. Just a stinker of a map 1 and leading the charge here on map 2 as we jump into round 7. That's the type of a bounce back that you'd hope for and that you'd be looking for. Now he's got the Rolling Thunder to utilize. It's the heavy key ultimate probably for this round more than any of them. I mean, Hunter's Fury is keyed up very close as well, but looking to see NYT utilize that Rolling Thunder in their final game plan.
New York to mid. Some flashes out. Nothing spotted. Fight Sewer going to come through now. Timing's awkward, though, so no one really going to find much there. Just some shots exchanged. And Pristine once more all the way up here through A main. Going to have this fight with Max still. Has been the one to win it most of the time. Looking to do so again. Elaine trying to bait this player out. Nothing there. So nervous about how much space is Pristine going to take off of this fight with Alert.
I mean, how much more does Pristine push forward here? This is already really aggressive. Still wants this fight? This is ridiculous. And the adjustments made. Boredom gonna go down to that heavy value ultimate in the Rolling Thunder, no longer available. It's the other side that tosses it out by Utica. disrupt, and delay.
It's New York now stuck into the back of mid. Oh, Jadel, the running gun phantom, able to find it off the momentum cancel. That's fantastic work done on the counter strafe. Has picked it up. That leaves New York to just try to make a decision here. 20 to play. They've got to go somewhere. Their choice looks to be Garage, where Jadel ready to go yet again after that first pick came through. Looking for a 3K. There's 2, and Henzo going to steal the other. So actually would have been 4 on the round. So still gets the 3K. Everyone's happy. Utica's in the lead.
Small decision-making point that I want to make there. Love that Jadel is going for that more aggressive setup and then coordinating with his teammates to make sure that they have like a different crossfire of sorts. Like at no point is NYIT going back into Garage and meeting the same type of fight that they had before. So there's no preparation that can be done. There's no expectations that can be met. And of course, Pristine, as per usual, at the forefront of just like being a thorn in the side of NYIT. Is stupid how aggressive he's got up mid, or up A, excuse me, in that last round. And he just keeps pushing. The fact that he gets 1 for 1 there is even better.
New York to play up towards A again. I honestly wouldn't have been shocked if Utica had sent 2 up main, so I actually like the call here to try to contact it. Since Pristine got so much space in the last round, and the way they've been playing their defensive half, I wouldn't be shocked if they had tried to set piece it this round. So I really like the call here to try to catch that early. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, so now they're just kind of stuck in the backs of A main.
Unfortunately, like NYT have no info here. Like Utica have made no presence.
Yeah, that's felt like the case for most of these rounds, too. It's just been the fact that if they don't get anything from Utica, they don't really have anything to go off of. Uproot there is going to be really awkward for Himothy, who gets sent to the sky. Fuck with a quick trade, though, as Wizard tries to pull an arrow. And this Fury has a tag. No more than that, though. They've gone to sight. But do they have sight control is the question. Jadel going to pick up Max. That one comes off the flank, so the lurk shut down yet again. And now there's numbers for a retake.
Oh, and those numbers start to equalize in the favor now of NYT. Oh my goodness, Boredom has danced around this site perfectly. Gets them all. This guy's a one-man wrecking crew. Boredom certainly does kill. It's 4 kills for him in that round. NYIT can rely on him, it seems.
It definitely does seem so. That's big stuff coming out of Boredom, who, well, you really put the pressure on him. Post break, you said they gotta show up, they gotta perform. A 2-18 game can't be the case, and well, they're looking to show you something better. 12-4 early from this breach, who most certainly has bounced back. Maybe it was the character selection all along. As it'll be NYIT looking to push C. We have not seen them really hanker C long yet this game. It's been a lot of Garage.
Yeah, and I think this is a good adjustment in pace. Himothy going to get up in their face. And Akira follows that up. The space created by Himothy will allow for NYIT to have the entirety of this site.
I love that from the Neon there. Not pushing past that dark cover. Just respecting the space that they have. And being an asset for post plan as well. Could have really jumped in with the overdrive. Didn't do so. Boredom still going to light up the kill feed now. And Garage has picked up one. Looking for more and has found it. Himothy going to find one as well. So the Neon still having performance and still winning the fight against Pristine. We'll take that one from the back of sight. And the lead flips yet again. New York into the lead.
I think that New York have already changed my expectations for this best of 5. When you consider what we know coming into this is that they got rocked. I mean, their best of 3 in the regular season was a 2-0 with NYIT picking up 6 rounds total over those 2 maps. This is a hugely different look out of them. You get deeper into the season, and the Cyber is showing that they have been improving.
Continuing to put the effort in here in this series. Joey from back of sight has Himothy. That could spell disaster here for this team unless they can find some trades. Akira with 1. Pristine, though, front of sight. Boredom finally shut down. Drone over the top. That one's killed early as well. How do you get this spike back if you're NYIT? Still trying to brute force it. They've got no flank effort here. They've got no flashes.
And they got no spike.
Yeah. This is one that they've really got to figure out how to walk back. Akira gonna look to flank here. It's really up to if this Sova can find any sort of value. Just got dart back as well. At least would let them shoot through this dark cover. There's the first. Does that dart have scans? No. So nothing gonna be picked up from the front line here either. It's 40 seconds to try to cook something. Yeah, dark cover comes down. Sight line's open. Pristine and Wizard gonna find everything. It's a tie game.
The collapse back on B for Utica was so quick there. Like, within moments, they had Pristine taking contact out front, Joey playing delay with the Aftershock to try and deny the spike plant. And if that wasn't going to do it, like I said, Pristine was right at the forefront, Hinza with the crossfire. Like, all the pieces were there in seconds. And that's something that Utica have, you know, set themselves up for success in with how much presence they tend to have towards garage and towards A. They can collapse towards B very quickly, but I think that might give NYT some other ideas about C and how exposed or vulnerable it is. Unfortunately, not this round, and I guess NYT not going to look that direction for the time being.
Fault line early. Yo, Himothy just seeing what's going on. Deep shoulder peek, and Wizard gonna find that one before they get traded. So at least a 1-to-1 there. The defense. And Pristine, Op Online has managed to find one. So Max is gone. Can't get anything cooking over towards mid. And the numbers dwindle further. Joey back aside has picked up the Sova. Boredom really needs to do a lot here. Has picked up one. Chance at the op somehow stays alive. Joey, though, back a sight for 2.
I mean, it's been honestly a game of the breaches in a lot of ways. Joey with a big hold, talked about Boredom a lot, but Pristine, I think that's the first op this series, actually. I don't think we saw a single op on Sunset.
You are correct.
From either side, actually, now that I think about it. So a little change of how they want to approach the map. That's an option that kind of isn't on the table until it is for NYIT, and now it's something that's got to be in the back of their mind. They got to think about it. Oh, and this is perfect. Up posted. That's a lot of information. The speed with which Himothy's able to move along. I don't know that he got the information because Akira's still wanting to play with some very scary ideas.
This drone will have to have given it away regardless. So something saw it, surely. And that should just about shut down the C long hopes as Joey has shut down mid yet again. It's Flux this time caught there. JDL's close and personal. Oh, timing could not be better. You're stuck in the reload as Max. Fully caught out and a neural theft now online. Dodges Hunter's Fury 2. Garage control played to perfection from the Cypher and not done yet. Boredom's dead. That puts Pristine down. C-Long with an op in hand. Thank God we got the switch to see that. Tried for the no-scope, couldn't find it. Jado's got the trade.
Dude.
What in the world?
Pristine is making some decisions that are moves of all time.
That wasn't Pristine?
That was ridiculous.
Okay, sorry, not the time for jokes. Wizard will pick up the last frag. It's 2 rounds of lead for Utica, who just won a second half pistol a game ago.
Now looking to transition that into another one. I think as much as there was a lot of silliness in that last round, Utica really showing their wherewithal in that half. NYT played, again, a very well thought out game, even if there was some holes that we had kind of talked about and seen open up early. I think that the way they approached that had some very good ideas behind it. They consistently were taking space, and they didn't entirely give up map control. They always had some sort of control, just maybe not to the extent we were looking for.
KJ back a sight here. Very deep, and that gives Max an opportunity to make something happen. Does manage to find one, and he's out of there. Flux another. And Utica, they got into sight. They cannot get control of it. Plant went down, but they've got a lot of work to do on this post, and it's not looking good. Himothy to find another. Joey's going to fall. That's 2 down C long now. still trying to frag it out. Jadal and Wizard have managed to pick up looks. And they've got this long-range weaponry too. Wizard another. Defu's getting stuck though. You know you have to swing, and Akira able to find it off of it. That extra pressure. It's NYIT with a pistol round just when they needed it.
That just alleviates pressure from, you know, what was a little bit of a lackluster into the half, and on top of that, you know, a little bit of a tight game that goes the way of Utica towards the end of it. Now they have the way to bounce back pretty much immediately. Tie game is likely for Cybears as they get into position for the anti-eco. I saw that. Joey wanted to get silly, wanted a stinger. What is this, 2021? What are we doing?
Hey man, don't hate my boy.
I'm not hating.
That's still it's my pride and joy. NYIT up A main early. Utica up mid early. And contact going to be on the horizon. Pristine sliding through. Good arrow for info. And shots are good as well. Jadal going to pick up one. Yeah, what are we holding for?
Dude, they have the spike down. Like, it's a little scary. A little wild.
They are a bit far from it as well. Max to pick up one. Wizard. Trade would be big for securing the round. Tap the spike. Pristine's there. Has picked up two. 3K on the round now. It's Max 3K of his own, but would have needed an ace to win it. And Henzo not going to let that happen. It's 8-6 for Utica.
I mean, that's why we're holding. That right there is the answer. Utica just... Honestly, on Classics, just shouldn't have ever been even in the conversation for that round, but they played that well together in a couple of ways, and then they're separated in a way that is terrifying, but they end up playing perfectly. Once Pristine is able to recover a little bit of a rifle, that changes the equation. And they have a lot more threat to them when they have that Acon space. When Link is falling in the favor of Utica, the position from which they can take back and retake this area, it falls away.
A very slow Utica around here. Just trying to see if they can get anything out of New York. It doesn't appear as such. So now a question of, okay, where do we want to go? They've got a massive rifle advantage. I'm pretty sure they know that as well. So just trying to see if they'd give them anything down mid. They certainly did not. So now a chance to go fight these rifles. Got to be careful, though. Don't want to be close against some pistols here. They do have one free look up towards A main. It's a matter of if they can snuff it out.
I mean, issue for Himothy is that this is so committed. Normally you could, you know, wriggle around, take more fights, but just a classic.
Hey, man. Now they know. And Pristine has taken care of the rat in the walls. It's a look now towards A, and there's really no one at home to answer the call either. They've got spacing. Dart there, going to call out Akira. Can anybody garner that into a frag, though? Hasn't looked like it just yet. Akira still alive here towards CT, and now getting the job done. Traded quickly by Pristine. Finally shut down over towards Hell. Swinging out for more. Sprays coming through. Jelly from back to the site, going to pick that one up. And it's a classic right click to the dome to activate a 3K and a round win. 9-6, Utica to lead.
But on notice, our NYIT, that pistol round win is exactly what they're looking for, only turns into devastation. A nightmare fuel. When you lose the follow-up, lose the next round as well. Here's the gun round. All that's been a precursor to the fireworks on display here. And noting the ultimates. Hunter's Fury for Akira. You've got the possibility in overdrive if you really wanted to play around with it. Ooh. There's that Hunter's Fury, and I mean, it was a long, drawn-out fight that didn't look good for Himothy. Yeah. So Akira just had his back.
It's a tough headshot angle too from both sides of that fight. It's really awkward. So it'll go the way of New York, and Utica going to rethink the efforts here. They're going to look for Garage. Pristine. This fight could be what the round unravels to. And now they're going to look to push their way forward. Flux with the paranoia still caught out. Jadal and Wizard are going to find themselves two. Boredom, caught with nothing to do. Looked like his bullets ran out there as Max does manage to trade 2 back. So New York gonna hold on just barely at the C site.
Dude, Max drops out a window there and is just perfectly placed. Utica had no idea. Now J-Dell forced into a more aggressive situation when the neural theft gets activated. And once his position's known, they turn and dispatch him fast. Yeah, that round really falls onto Max's back, who is kind of off, not necessarily nowhere, but like bolstering the B-side defense with a couple of tripwires once the space is taken at garage. And he just drops back in from window at the perfect timing where it deals with basically everybody approaching C. When the C-side defense was falling, Max was there to fill in the gaps.
Timothy thought about the look down towards Sewer. Caught by that fault line, though, had to back away. Overdrive online here for Utica. They're going to continue this contact exec. Timothy still close. Lane for Pristine to cross. Looking for this backside action. Is going to find Akira early. That one's picked up inside the dark cover. Timothy. No one checking the angle. 3K found. Give him one more. A 4K for Timothy. Back of sight. Gets the job done.
Bro is just moving and grooving around those smokes. All the utility flies past him. Unaffected by basically all of it, believe it or not. And nobody alerted to the deep angle that he was located in. It's the Timothy that we've been looking for back on Sunset that we saw. Looking close to a tied game.
Pristine with the walk-up C-long. Going to keep the ball rolling on these contact execs is Utica. And up close and personal with Max. Nothing to do. Util player, what is going on? Just caught out by visual clutter and now dead. Utica plant going to go down. J-Dell will pick up one there on the flank. He'll step away. Rifle at his disposal and now back with the gang. That leaves 3 standing here for New York and really no foothold in this round.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, you kind of want to go back in considering the economy and everything that is currently we're looking at, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot that is possible. Racine doesn't get anything. That's the start they're looking for. Rolling Thunder, though, teed up. That should be the win condition, and they'll just tap it. They know exactly what's going down. But a long stun that will pull time off of this clock that is already low. Oh, and they will get out of there, at least.
They have their one rifle. They got it out the round. And they didn't get it out the round at all. Last minute kill comes through. That could make a difference here in the future. Someone can buy this rifle, but it might make a difference the next round. We shall see.
Right there.
Say an exit frag coming through. So Utica, a chance to reset this one. It's a good round win from them, picked up off of just straight contact. Does look like they want to slow this round back down, though. So up to New York in terms of what adjustment do they make? Do they look to play farther on the extremities? Do they look to play even further back for retake? I'd probably choose the latter, especially because these retakes have come very close. They do push this extremity a bit further, though, in towards A main. And they're about to get pushed right back to their direction. Pristine thought about the look through A-Link yet again. Didn't choose for it, though. He's opted back with the team on B. It's going to be a hard hold, though, not having this extra space.
Boredom kind of stealing that away from Timothy Johnson. This crossfire. One towards the back of the site. Very important. Akira playing a game. Back and forth. J-Dell swings them right around. Doesn't get the half. And Pristine just in the backs of the site towards Gong. That was the key. Timothy has brought this back.
He's so far.
All 3 is required. But he's got the Hunter's Fury, and that's what's the ultimate sacrifice willing to make that tap for a 3rd time. And he's going to stick it all the way to the end, but not enough time.
Yeah, clean patience with the fire there, just to make sure that one could come through. So far from it, I was worried that we get an early tap from Himothy, no ult, and then suddenly you're stuck down grass, but not the case, so all good. New York not really with a buy into this round. They got some ults, but wouldn't expect them to come through. Sheriffs all around. I wouldn't even keep this one Vandal, but to each their own.
Yeah, it is quite a bit of an investment, to be fair, but I mean, maybe they're going to try and set him up. You know, if they're going to use some of those ultimates, maybe they use the Rolling Thunder and try and set him up to, like, clutch there towards the end or something. I don't know. Regardless of the game plan, it doesn't start out in the right direction. Whoa, my goodness.
Steam chipper for one. Traded quickly, though, by Boredom. So that keeps New York in this round. I say full send the map to C-Long. Yet again, it's got to be a conversation now for New York of how do we hold C-Long, because this is the second round in a row they just got in there for what feels like free.
I mean, and before it was Pristine, who was kind of the crux of that attack. He was up in their face, and this round it was not.
He's on this side of the map, so you really can't use that as the excuse here, most definitely. Fatal through, dark cover, that one's easy. And yeah, Flux, same case. I'll give him the credit, at least it's an eco round, but yeah, same story there. So match point now for Utica. I would be surprised if they weren't right back on C-Long.
I mean, it's where they found a lot of success. There's no reason to stop if it's just going to keep working like that. And now they've got Pristine with the overdrive, so the capability to be a lot more fluid and have options is available to them, and at range too with the overdrive. So that's exactly what it's going to be. JDL, the only one who's not towards the C side of the map, off the rip. It's Cypher there in defense, but honestly, that's just going to be a little bit of a lackluster defense, considering it's not even going to be a real one. You're going to hold on to the camp in order to go for this retake.
This is so early.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that seems crazy.
This is so early. Fortunately, they have managed to find 2 picks off of it, and they're sent right back. Wizard going to find both players in garage. Plant now going down. Recognize that ult is very much gone, and this is just coming down now. Pristine. Bucky from back aside, doesn't have to do anything. Enzo and Wizard have picked up the others. The big 3K from the Sova that should just about shut this game down. Akira, you need a 1v3. They peek just before the dark cover comes up. You're not expecting that one if you're the Sova. Henzo picks it up. It's 13-8. It's 2-0. It's match point. It's championship point in the East Coast Conference for the Utica Pioneers.
Yeah, and Utica showing up in a big way. I think NYIT actually deserve a ton of credit for the way that they pulled back and looked on Haven after what we saw in the regular season and what we saw on map number 1. That was a game where they were in it the whole time. There was no silly comebacks required, no ridiculous like foot off the gas moments for the Pioneers. But like as a whole, Utica on their attack side specifically, they found what worked and they really pushed those buttons, right? They were constantly really dialing into what was a problematic area for NYIT, and they never ever stopped doing that. And I think for me, that kind of links back up to what I think I saw on the on the NYIT defensive sunset, which was just a little bit slower when it came to making those mid-game adjustments, and that happened here again.
Yeah, that's the fact they're able to get up C-Long so many times and there's just no adjustment. I mean, both these teams, I don't know if we gotta like send them a quick Discord DM. They do have timeouts. Like we've got timeouts if we need them. I feel like maybe they feel like they're disabled. Like the rule book definitely lets you use 2 still. But yeah, it's the fact that adjustments have not been coming through mid-map, which means it's time to talk about things. And the only time we've had to talk about things so far has been during the break. So hopefully in the next 2 to 5 minutes, they'll do just that. We'll be back for map 3 in just a moment.
grand finals of the ECC, and we have map 3 of this best of 5 getting ready to get started. It is 2 maps in the lead here for Utica Blue, looking to put together the three-peat, looking to find themselves in position where they denied SNHU a couple of years ago the three-peat. They now look to take it away, and they've got just 1 map more to complete that victory. Kat, I gotta be honest with you. I think Utica, the biggest thing that I've taken away from this is you gotta stop Pristine. Like, he's been at the forefront of pretty much anything that Utica have been able to pull off. And, I mean, he's been good individually, but, I mean, the setup around him, too, has been solid.
Yeah, the initiator is doing a fantastic job of getting this neon in, and certainly has had a lot of value. You mentioned the fact that they are looking for the three-peat. They're looking to ascend into a legacy. What better map to do it on than Ascent? It is going to be Utica's map pick. Both of these teams playing it in the semis, where we see Utica against Farmingdale. They take it 13-1. But New York Tech, they take a 13-4 as well against SNHU. So 2 very close teams in terms of skill on the map. This one is just going to come down to who's playing better today.
Yeah, and for now, you've kind of, talked about it yourself a couple of times. For right now, it feels like Utica are filling that role for me. They're 2-0 notwithstanding in the series. Like, that's an obvious indicator. And we were talking in the green room that we might be seeing some funny stuff here. And I think that funny stuff has happened, my friend. Look at what Pristine's on.
Yeah, that funny stuff has happened. I will say he's been hot all day, so might as well throw out the Phoenix. I will say, I thought the fact that they had won map 1 of semis, 13-4, they were kind of having fun with the comp. But it does feel like there is something to it. Not as much influence for Pristine in that map. It was players... Really, it was the controllers stepping up instead. Jadel had 28 in that game. Henzo had 16-5. So Pristine just really didn't have to do too much. I think Phoenix Util is a lot better than expected. I also would say that APAC teams run Phoenix on Ascent. So maybe stealing from those compositions across the pond, always a possibility. I would have just thrown back on Neon and said have fun.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you on that one. But I also think that, there is so much value in the collegiate space, especially, of, deciding to run an off-meta comp. Even if it's not,
for real.
Crazy. Yeah,
for real, yeah.
Because if you're pracking, you're just pracking against the same thing or, very small variations of it. This can get you so much value just by, being different, genuinely. I used to run into that when I was playing Overwatch competitively. That is so difficult sometimes.
And that... Okay, that's the KL Util is going to be less influential as well for this defensive comps. The fact that there's not that Neon to shut down anymore. Himothy going to shut down too early into mid. So Himothy really looking to wrestle this game back, and they'll do it themselves. As Wizard with Spike here in mid. Rest of the team nowhere to be found. Of course, Pop Flash there, but that player not nearby. Flux going to find Henzo as he steps out the dark cover. The second as well. So both controllers dead to rights. That leaves Wizard needing an ace, has found the first.
That's Spike, so at least there's something to talk about with regard to this. The issue is Max, who is already in position to get the flank going.
Ooh,
and that's...
me, I'm going to eat all the damage possible. That should chalk it. That nano really influential. So Max will find it, no trouble. Defuse on the way. New York Tech to take the pistol for, I believe, the 3rd time at the start of the game.
Yeah, they've been able to pick up these early pistols pretty consistently, actually. Which is, tough considering the scoreline of the series is 2-0.
Yep.
But it's been the back half pistols that Utica have actually been successful in, and unfortunately, last time out, the back half of Haven was NYT with a pistol win, only to lose to pistols themselves on the anti-eco. Hoping that won't be the case in this one. These are just wholesale changes, to be fair, right? In the way that Utica have been approaching this game. The way you play this composition is, not so much about, Pristine being set up by everyone else. You can be a lot more self-sufficient on the differentiation. So I think that, as much as Utica come in with this Phoenix, and I'm excited for it, I also think that they got to change their mindset a little bit.
Yeah, entirely possible. Timothy out towards Wine. Already had 2 early, so I like the call to tuck the Jet player here. Let's push out towards A main. Akira gonna pick up 2 off the pistol. That's clean for this round. Really good stuff for the bonus. As Flux gonna pick up 2 and a 3rd off this Ghost. Man, forget buying up. I'll get the job done nonetheless. Bonus on its way. A clean 2-0 for NYIT.
I mean, this is the best that we've seen them look off the back of that. I mean, last time out when we did see, you know, NYIT win the pistol, win the follow-up, it was close, like a 1v1, if I'm recalling correctly, in the first half of the map 1 in Sunset. So I don't know. I don't know if we've seen this level of consistency. It's encouraging.
Certainly. It's Utica to step forward into mid link. Himothy waits in the dark cover. Does have dash window activated, so can step out, but is looking top mid, just not the right direction. It's a 50-50 there for him, so he's gone. No one's checked for boredom. So he's picked up 1 at Archway. Jadal with a quick trade, though, is looking to bring this one back in the favor of Utica's Pristine's Phoenix, able to cut off info and get 1.
That crunch through market, making life so very difficult. NYIT and holding back for, you know, the cutoff is Jadel will be dismantled, but there's still a long way to go. Here we're gonna start sending the message that this is not gonna be given over for free.
Drone to confirm no players to be main, but Akira gonna get confirmed by Pristine a second later as Wizard has the last as well. Utica managed to find it. They only get 2 rifles out this round though.
And that's a big deal, but at the same time, I think a game plan that I'm behind fully. Right, the mid-centric presence, the way that they pushed aggressively on that area of the map, and then were able to look for reactions on B main in the same way as they took control of like the mid to B split. Like I think that for me is what you want to talk about as opposed to just the rifles that they take away.
Sure. I like this double wall for them to the toxic screen to get them into mid and then through market with Blaze Wall. Definitely interesting. Himothy gonna shut run it back down almost immediately. Looking for more as well. Has found 2. It's looking for a real 3K. Couldn't quite find it. Pristine going to get their revenge, but it's Max with the trade instead. It's Jadal left standing in what is a 1v4, so it'll be tough to claw back.
I mean, just a trifecta of defenders there. They had everybody on location. NYIT. I don't know that Utica had much of a chance at all. Would have had to been like perfect double entry from that run it back.
Yeah, absolutely. It just comes down to contacting really quickly, right? Really no util expended just yet. And really no info of who's on that site either. Just trying to brute force their way in. And that is kind of what you look at when you don't look at a Sova in this comp. You don't look at a Fade in this comp. Trying to get info kind of requires them to get it firsthand. So the running back, I guess, gets info, but it's like so late and it's a player. So is it really helpful in terms of getting information and canceling the exec because you're already in?
I mean, normally I'd say like it's a little bit more useful, but Pristine like walks in there and like I said, it was a 3-man crossfire. Like he didn't even know where he died from, I don't think.
Right. Like they really need just some sort of info early, or they need to play a lot slower, and they're looking for contact still, so hoping that they can just kind of beat the timing on the rotation. They certainly have thus far. They have no idea about this market player though, and they have no info on Max either. Everybody went through stairs, so there's no info on towards lane, which leaves Max that easy pick on Jadal, who has just no idea.
Wizard grabbing back up the utility immediately, gonna help out, finish off Max from the side. Pristine tucked, waiting for the Dizzy to come back into the fray. Henzo gets his, but Pristine falls in the meantime. Flash has to come in, and defensively this is good. Himothy delayed even further, but it's Akira in both directions. Shock Dart and the rifle. Leaves Joey up in the clutch, and a classic is all that he has to work with. His position now known. And they'll be handling that very easily. Akira with 4.
Yeah, I mean, we look at the defensive utility there for the post plan, and it really just ends up being Akira off camera finding everybody with frags. sprays through for quite a bit of time, is able to find 2 on that stairs push, and then comes back to help the team for the rest of that exit. Just a really clean job there in terms of the retake effort from the Sova. And that extra info goes a long way as well. 1 kill came off the bolt. As this util really shining as it currently sits on the defensive end.
And, you know, I think Utica, you've made a lot of good points about the way that this composition works. Utica, I think, kind of ignoring what I would tend to take as, you know, some good points you're making, and just trying to lean in on the fact that, you know, they have extra utility. They can execute very heavily, like very efficiently.
Yeah, for sure.
They have that ability with this composition, but them ignoring the fact that they don't have any information has really hurt them.
This is the hope that you can just frag out, and they will here in Catwalk. They find themselves 2. Wizard does get 1 back, though. Takes an ult to do it. There's 1 extra tag as well, so Phoenix a bit lower. Is going to heal themselves there off that wall, and now the push forwards. Got lots of space. Flux just going to sit in this. Might be a DC.
That
truthfully,
yeah,
just a little too stagnant there. Was maybe trying to make a play on Wine, but yeah, no mouse movement has me concerned there. Pristine gonna find Akira, and Max in a 1v3. How many times have we said that this series?
Yeah, it's happened more often than I can count. And unfortunately, not that you're very favored to win any of these, but it's been tough for Max to try and break into those. Feel for him. How many of those do you get put into position where you finally start to like feel a hit to your confidence a little bit? I know personally that can start to grate on my nerves a little bit. Hope it's not for him.
Yeah, it's the fact of how much pressure can you take before you boil over. Definitely not Max's fault in any capacity, though. Just playing heavy lurk or heavy anti-lurk. Situations where everybody's dead and, well, you gotta try to make a play. And it's unfortunately another one of those moments. Flux gonna get caught by this fault line here. Can't TP out though. So he's gonna jump away, run it back, already up yet again. I think it's a 6 orb ult, so not surprised to see it come up so many times. As Pristine gonna take Flux. That's all he needs to do here. He's got space and he gets up to Scaffold as well to guarantee that's clear before that run it back clears.
Yeah, that's one of the few left, isn't it? Not a lot of those these days.
It's one of the few left. And I'd argue the impact probably worth being 7. Just the fact that no one runs Phoenix, so you don't really know.
Yeah, I would actually agree with you. Taking advantage of that of Utica. Here's the Blade Storm. Haven't got a lot of these with all the neon play. That was deadly. Adjustment needed for the second, but that not there. Pristine in hell. And a crossfire set. They have finally removed Pristine, but 2 players on opposite ends of this angle. Jadel and Hinzo here in main, making life miserable. Max finally going to be tapping and sticking, but they swing together, and it's a dynamic duo of Jadel and Hinzo that clear them out 1 by 1.
And they were that duo that was so successful in their semis ascent bout. Starting to cook up yet again. It's playing off each other nicely. It's going to be an ult party here for Utica. They've got everything. They've been a contact team. Surely it's contact day. Pit down. Just hold. Unless Jadel runs off to the other side of the map, which it looks like they have.
Boredom likes to do this a lot. Or he's got like a hero rifle. This time it's a hero Odin. And straight through. Yeah, utilize all those bits of utility and those ultimates.
Nice. Seen out for 2. He's 1 away from ult yet again. That's his 5th orb picked up on the death. And NYT gonna step all the way out of this. Use 2 ults. They should have 2 more into next round, as long as they play Pristine well. This is really good economy for Utica right now.
I think we've got our answer, though. You were kind of asking in the green room and then into the broadcast here, like, you know, maybe getting a little silly Utica, trying to, you know, play for some fun in those semifinals. I think we've got the clear answer that no, this is just their comp.
Yeah.
And it's very well drilled. Like, they are into taking these executes and pushing them to the limit.
Yeah, and they have such good... I actually grabbed the other orb, too. He must grab orb on the way in.
Had to have.
So already run it back again. They run it back here. They've got Pit here. That's an easy ult combo for this team. That just came off an ult combo. to get themselves into the A site. Just a round to go. But yeah, definitely having this isolation utility, that paranoia to get players off, the dizzy to get players off, and then two more flashes as well. Picked up all the Phoenix. They got a lot of vision denial. So really, I guess it doesn't matter if they don't have the info, if the players can't shoot them back because they don't know where they are.
Yeah. It's a pretty novel concept, but so very true. This is
Oh,
all
it's
a
the fake.
ruse.
Yeah.
All right, well, now they know. 3 players there, and they walk right into B. They're going to have to deal with just the one. Max gets the
trade?
Yeah, a little finishing blow there. the bot, but... Oh, this is a lot of time that has been denied.
Nobody's here for Jadal, so if they push pit, it's trouble. Akira's gonna find Pristine early as well. This is just a really silly mid round from Utica right now. Still a chance for us to look back though, thanks to this ultimate. Jadal's gonna hold all the stairs, and Joey's been good for big moments as well. Jadal's out of the pit, has picked up 2, and Joey has the other 2 as well. So wrestled back what was looking like a difficult round from a 4v2 scenario.
I mean, I think silly's the right word. I'll back you on that one. It did get a bit silly, a bit absurd. The idea was good, but then that execution at the end in a 2v4, I mean, that's where you pop off and you say, okay, well, it got silly, but they made it look easy.
Yeah.
And that is the ability that Utica have. You know, NYIT, a team that, you know, kind of an amalgamation of 2 different New York Tech squads. Yellow and blue from last semester combined with some new additions. Utica, 4 out of 5. These are the same players that won last semester. They have that ability to fall back on their experience as a core.
Akira here with the buck. He does manage to find Pristine, but oh my goodness, the trades are coming out yet again. It's Wizard and Joey to find it. 1 off the Aftershock nonetheless. Doors up. And they're going to spam through. Flux thought he was safe. Could not have been more wrong. This NYIT numbers dwindled yet again.
I mean, getting back in just seems like a question that doesn't even need to be bothered asking. Only Himothy.
More than watched. Only Himothy, and only for so long. It's 2 rounds to lead now for Utica.
I mean, it's a tight lead. It's not like they have dominated this half as a whole, but when you look at the timeline
back
there,
half of the half, yeah.
Yeah, that's where things start to get a little scary, because as soon as they start to honestly just cycle their ultimates, that's when it starts to fall apart for NYIT. Like, they get the ult economy in position, and that's when they start running. Utica show no signs of stopping.
Yeah, it really speaks to how well-rounded their scoreboard is. The extra ult is picked up because no one's having the most standout-ish performance. Everybody's getting value. Everybody's finding frags. These put them very close. They also have this A main orb every time. If they flip them out, they should always get the B main orb. There's no effort for it from NYIT. First pick is going to be found here. And Akira going to pick up another. So that does give them something, the Cybears, to cling on to here. As Himothy, to fight on the scaffold, is going to win it. Pristine to trade off camera. Still so much to be done for these 2 players on site.
I mean, so very low. You got the Gecko.
You can't really throw a wall here. Might kill your teammate.
Yeah. Oh, big move. Himothy trying to get up close, and now it's Wizard, who was low as mentioned. Got a mosh pit, but, I mean, what do you do with the recon bolt in your sights? Easy enough to remove him through the floorboards.
Yeah, it comes down to those 2 early picks there for NYIT, making sure Utica can't extend. Also, I'd say that pick from Himothy coming through, grabbing scaffold control, guaranteeing there's a way for New York to actually work back in on the retake. That's something we don't always see them grab. I think that's big there. Wizard forced to pop an ult, has put them closer in ult economy here. Gonna have a lockdown on the other side from the shadows, call it what it is. So there is a way back into this one for New York for sure on this last round.
Yeah, I'm gonna look to that lockdown. Don't feel like we've really seen much value from that prior.
I don't know if we've even seen it.
I was just thinking that, but like the deaths surely just like make that not possible, right? unless they've been sitting on it for a little bit and
Yeah,
haven't
not a
noticed.
big, yeah, an ult holder.
Could be. Regardless, I certainly don't recall seeing its impact, at the very least. Slower move. And notice when Utica don't have that ult economy you were just talking about, that's when they slow it down a little bit.
Gonna try to play back into this KJ setup. I think it's very difficult for this comp in particular to clear it. They do manage to smoke it out here in this lockdown. Thought about coming up, hasn't come up just yet. Run it back from Pristine, gonna shut down one, and that's the lockdown out the round. Could not be a better target there as he comes back to spawn.
That one hurts. That was meant to delay this thing, to stop it in its tracks, but now it's not available. Utica, they've had the Rolling Thunder. Just get that up and online, and as they start to filter back in, that's when they're going to pull the trigger. Wizard gets his. Everybody tagged up by the Rolling Thunder, and it's overwhelming numbers as everybody swings in. Utica pushes them out. A 7-5 scoreline at halftime.
All right, Utica up now at half, and in a half where they typically take the pistol. That could lead them with some extra room here. The question of how does this brute force composition play on the defensive? You expect it to be retake heavy? Let's see what they want to do with it.
It's a very good question. I think my typical answer would be, yeah, probably retake heavy, but the way that they're playing this, they have the flashes and utility to play like a very
early control.
Yeah, a very regimented early fight style as well, which just kind of seems like what they want to do in general.
Watch out.
Ooh, interested in the Molly lineup. The round started. You can throw it now. Okay, waiting for a contact there. I think that goes to Cap.
Yeah, I think so too.
So waiting for contact. If they get contact there, throw it to make them have to make a decision. It's interesting. We'll see if it comes through. He's getting back to the lineup spot right now. Probably not, just because there's really no one there to get the info. So yeah, nothing there. Really kind of calm early round. Contact's here now. Henzo going to win that one in front of the dark cover. Molly there early. Guarantees no spill. Pristine actually gets a frag off it as well. Kira with the trade, but nowhere really to go right now if you're New York.
Yeah, and 2 HP isn't a lot to work with either if you're boredom kills. Off angle, though, could be certainly an effective one. Unfortunately, Henzo far too aware to fall victim to that. The adjustment made as Jadel swings back out wide at lane.
This round really comes down to, well, let me hold just in case. Akira is going to find one. Can't find anything else than that, though. The Viper has it. And that round really comes down to the fact that Utica only have contact over an A main. It looks like an A split, and they're still so patient on it. They don't send anybody over before they need to. They just rely on, even in pistol round, that limited utility to be enough to hold on.
I mean, it's protocol that they're really relying on and falling back onto. And I think that those protocols that we kind of saw the inklings of in that first round are providing some insight into the style of play that they're going to want to go for.
Nice one way.
Love that.
So look outside of A main right now for New York. We're getting back into those same old habits of sitting and waiting, and this is a comp that I don't think is going to give them anything.
No, if there's not a big coordinated play, there's not a lot of ability actually for Utica outside of just the Phoenix to kind of play on their own. So that's why we see Henzo kind of looking to play off of contact. He's going to make that contact and then tee up a little bit more. Wall comes through. They're going to step through it. Oh, nasty shot there for Himothy. He's got to take a little damage to step through that wall, but Jadel is so fast.
It's just a bit too far to recover from them, unfortunately, and everyone's still here. Pristine going to pick up two. Flanks on the way. Might not even need it. Flash on the way. And Jadel does manage to get there for his. It's a 4-round lead for Utica. A very comfortable one at that, it feels.
Dude, Pristine is tossing curveballs that low-key are for his teammates, trying to get those ecos, man. Give me them. Eating them up.
I'm a big fan of that backwards throw, too.
Yeah.
Make the arc a bit longer so it pops just as it approaches sight lines. It's like very, very hard to turn.
Already one of the more difficult flashes, I think, to deal with in the game by default. That one's one that won't even get a chance to go off. Hinzo is the last man to recover, but no way they anticipate a fourth guy here. I mean, that's ridiculous. If so, Hinzo fights his way out. They still don't know about Joey.
Yeah, it's a question that drone was up in time to see. Regardless, they've seen it now. Gonna step away, aftershock to stall. And somehow, New York win the fight, but they don't win the site. Because everybody's still here. I like the due diligence there of just sitting there B main, taking an extra second, reassessing after that initial fight win to make sure they can convert, and they do just that without dropping anything in addition.
I think one thing to note about that is that Utica, when they're there, they're there, right? It's never one or two players. Like, two is usually the minimum to make a play with the way Utica have been approaching this game. So I think that hesitation is very nice. It's something where they can just wait and see for additional reactions, because you know it's going to come. If Utica are still there, you know they can't afford to just sit and wait on the site for 20 more seconds.
Okay, New York want B again. Utica not giving them those free early picks this go around. Gonna have a retake ult here if they want it. As Jadal gonna step in, got timing, but does get concussed. That's so unfortunate. Could have made something happen there and get shut down. As New York gonna work their way down to the B site. They win the trades yet again. Even with an extra player on the site, Plant's gonna come down. Now all they've got to do is hold on.
Easier said than done. There is Pristine, who's got the run it back, ready to roll. He's got backup. It's first and foremost. The run it back, as mentioned. Curveball in. Adjustment made, but Flux gets there faster. And it's bot time. They're all back in Boathouse. That's a little bit concerning. A lot of swings coming through as Hinzo continues to force forward.
Util back online. Flash on its way. One picked up. Boredom Judge up close. Oh, it's down to the wire. It's a classic right click versus the Judge, and the Judge will win out. New York in a 1v1, able to convert.
So 2 rounds at the beginning of this half for Utica, and NYIT answer back. They finally busted up the economy that Utica were building into. And, you know, not waste or anything, but a big ticket item in Pristine's running back that's off the table for this round. Where Utica have found victories on pistols before. To see what they've got in the tank.
Pristine gonna get paranoia. Gonna step away. Does manage to get down the molly to kill that spacing and get a little bit of health back. In addition, Henry though gonna grab one before the cover. No way. That time is ridiculous. And a second picked up through smoke. Me when my errors are my victories. Can't find the close range player, but finds a second behind him instead through that dark cover, and it leads them to a player advantage.
Say oops right now, Pristine. Say it. That was an oopsie. Fortunately, it looks like it might not be the error that is going to make NYIT pay for this. Yeah, that is maybe a problem. Oh, the flash is so perfect. It was so beautiful. Blind as Akira. And the Thrifty said they won on pistols, but that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, nat 20 of a round from Utica. Most certainly. Things just really go their way there. Happy to have it. Puts them into the driver's seat. And that's one that you really have to just shake off if you're this attacking team. It can be so disheartening. Moments like that where stuff just feels weird. Timing's weird. Wizard's somehow just there. Fault line misses and still is a player behind you. The little things. They've been having a pretty good game. Pretty good series. Can New York bounce it back? That's helpful. First frag going their way here. A chance at Pristine as well. Flashes back out and is dead.
I don't know how Flux has been able to like defend the rest of the team in that moment, but incredible work. That was a good utility layering, actually, from Utica, but all of it falls on deaf ears. Goodbye, J-Del.
That's a hard shot. I thought it was a right click. That's his left click from 2 feet away. That's a hard one to hit.
I assumed it was a right click, too, but no, yeah. And hello, Wizard, 1v4. How's it going?
I'll tell you in just a moment here. Dark cover's gone. Not well, Vincent, not well.
So double digits, Utica have those, but despite a crazy victory on pistols last round, they aren't able to transition that into anything more. A back and forth as we approach the latter stages of what could be the end of this grand final, or alternatively just this map if NYIT could bring it back. But a full reverse sweep is required. 3 maps straight.
Pristine edged up to B main. Spawn wall's down, and he is forward. Run it back, activated. Turret's gonna give it away. Behind you, bro. Behind you. Max gonna take that one, and almost able to find the original body as well. Be able to convert. So low HP, but alive. So Max, good trigger discipline, just couldn't quite convert it. Timothy gonna try to push down. Joey gonna grab one on the key. This is an awkward mid-round, but Utica winning it right now. Pristine back at Boathouse is gonna have a friend TP over, and they're both dead. Henzo, Pristine back a sight gone. New York, they needed that to go their way, and it certainly has.
I mean, he bought so much time to Pristine, it just wasn't enough. But they never lose sight, never lose space over in B main. And so now, Thrash can get involved. Ultimate up, and the Dizzy over the top. Quite strong, but even better are the frags out from Boathouse. Joey solo. Knows they're both here. Oh, that's devastating. Just needs another. And has the flash straight in, but Flux adjusts the crosshair enough to dodge it out.
Yeah, that is a huge flash turn and then a 90-degree turn back into the fight to be able to convert. Joey almost locking it in, but it's just not enough. A crazy game so far from Flux. 14 frags and 16 assists on the Omen, really coming into their own for both themselves and the team, inching them closer to getting it tied. It's an eco on the way from Utica.
But I was just about to say maybe a breath, like a moment to breathe. But no, I mean, Utica showed that that wasn't the case. Pristine, it's 2! Quick succession, in fact.
Oh, that can't happen.
They set him up for success.
The only thing going for New York there in that moment is the fact that they can't obtain the rifles right now. But it changes the mid-round so much because they haven't obtained the rifles. You kind of have to float around them and make sure that the defense isn't able to push for them.
But, I mean, the problem is you can only do that for so long. Time is ticking. 1 minute, 5 seconds are left on this clock. And sure, as you were suggesting, NYIT just going to try and make sure that nobody's trying to set up to take these back quickly. But ultimately, they're going to have to leave this.
Yeah, I almost would rather see them recall Max here to try to play for top of mid lurk instead. Is going to find one deep. Flux as well went out of A, so they slowly started to turn around back. But it's another eco frag. Henzo going to pick that one up with the Sheriff. It's 2-2, so they managed to snuff out the rifle, but it's the pistol still having value.
Max is in a really interesting spot, to be honest. That's going to uncomplicate matters quickly. Is J-Del not even going to take the time to grab back the rifle that was down towards mid. Instead, just gets confirmation and wants to get back in there fast.
They're both hell. I'd be shocked if the pit came out. Has some spacing here. The shot's gotta land though, and it certainly will not. Max from Hell gonna wrestle the round back with the help of his teammate. It's 10-10. New York, they tie it.
Big moment for New York. When you're talking about how this game went down and where the game changed. If NYIT are to make a comeback here to, you know, in this series, that is, it's right now that we will speak of. It's this gun round where they could take back the lead after a devastating end to the first half. They claw back. And we're at the forefront of it here and now. NYIT dealing with some of that pristine aggression out on B. But B main no longer occupied.
NYIT with a very split default, just trying to see what they can find, and it's Utica buttoned up yet again. They're not giving anything away here. The screen means you really have to think about, is there a chance for a tuck? So Himothy hasn't taken extra spacing here, hasn't yet peeked into this angle. The dark cover now makes sure that they won't. Oh, how much do you look for here if you're this Jet? Out and dead. Activated dash window. It's unfortunately Henzo, close door. That's the entry gone early.
It's locked down. It should be so valuable, and I mean it is. They're going to get the site for it, but look at what Utica have banked. Ready to go. The run it back is already primed and ready. They're going to roll in the the Rolling Thunder, excuse me, as well, and I mean they won't even get the site that they were hoping for.
I'm just gotta not give too much here. If you're Utica, make sure that New York's really working for it here. You got this toxic screen you can throw back up as well. Pit even to make sure that they can't cross effectively, as that's two picked up trying to cross. Henzo the last. And the ultimates, I'd argue, worth it to garner the round. It's 11-10 for Utica.
I don't even know if the pit was super necessary, but the other two, I would agree with you. Pit probably more just for a little bit of style at the end there. There was 11 seconds left. I don't know if you saw, but NYIT had a sprint regardless up ahead of them on Utica. Fortunately, that doesn't break the Cyber's economy, but I mean, they aren't far off from that being the case if this round goes the same way.
New York gotta decide where they want this one to go. B site was tricky last round. They've had trouble A main throughout this entire half. They haven't really got much going garage, but they haven't got much going cat, but they haven't really taken the time to send extra resources here either. It's been just this Jet trying to figure it out. That looks like the case in this round as well. They do put the Sova here, and that's Spike, which has me nervous if there were players here that would be Spike dead if they lose that fight. But fortunately, that really hasn't come to fruition.
Revealing area.
Utica moving though in the defense. Yeah, Pristine trying to play around the toxic screen, trying to get into an interesting position, but Max, commendable the way that he's dealt with that. Now they can focus up, work towards this A attack. JDL very much an off angle here.
New York still poking and prodding. Time runs short. 20 to work with. Henzo the first. Somebody's got to queue up this zigzag. Boredom's in. No util to get it. Akira is going to throw out this Hunter's Fury. Just found one and an extra tag. Still work to be done in 10 seconds. Henzo back of sight has been rock solid. Good for 3. And Max will fall as the 4th is converted for the Omen. It's New York with nothing in their palm coming in and nothing coming out.
Feels like New York need to be more decisive with what they're doing in these rounds. They have a good idea. They even have the right ideas around the execution of those, but they take too long. Too long to actually commit to that. Feels like if they had just, stuck to their initial decision, tried for a bit more of a punchy execute with what they had, they would have been more effective, but no.
Cover going out.
Yeah, the pressure certainly stacking. Now it's match point. Weaponry not what you would have wanted it to be. You're up against a squad that has given you the run already this season. Can you bounce back here?
Hand in hand. Gotta stick together. That's what these Cyber's are thinking. They're just gonna pop the null command, bring it back in, but Wizard, JDL, they provide no ability to go in, no re-entry available. Down to just 2, unless they can get back up fallen comrade on the ground, but that's difficult out in the open like that. And as the smokes fly, falling, no longer in position, it's confirmed, and it's about to be over. His Flux 1v3 starts it off well, but Henzo puts the cap on what is Utica's three-peat, 3 in a row victories here in the ECC finals.
A legacy cemented for a squad who has given everybody work this season. Nobody deserving it more, proving time and time again throughout these semesters they've got what it takes to win.
I mean, and to win in 3, that's the other thing, right? A best of 5 where I think the way we were looking at it coming in, they dominated into the regular season, and there was a world where this looked, quite simple for Utica, but New York, I think they deserve a lot of props. They showed up and played a very good game of Valorant that I don't think Utica were actually quite prepared for initially. They really had to get their feet under them.
No, for sure. I think this squad weren't nearly given the level of respect from this team they should have been. Worthy opponents through and through. They bring it to within single-digit rounds every time, and in very close fashion are those games. Just a couple moments that don't go Utica's way, we're looking at more maps.
And I think, to talk about maybe some individuals here on the winning side here for the Pioneers, I mean, Pristine comes to mind initially because Pristine he's at the forefront of all of these game plans. He's not a star player in the sense that he's got to be the guy who's dropping 30 or whatever in order for this team to win. But that's the beauty of this team is that they're a squad that works and builds around him and makes him succeed. And that's why I think you were kind of talking about it where, it is Pristine who I think led the charge in pretty much every map here, but it was a team effort across the board. When you talk about who's who had those big high impact moments, I think you could talk about just about everybody in one round or another.
Yeah, I mean, it's players like Jadel and Henzo, the flex of Jadel having a lot of value, the lurks and the anti-lurk for Jadel on the Cypher on the first 2 maps is very successful. Henzo's over 35 assists throughout the entire series on the Omen, so a lot of extra effort coming in from the team. So I really like that you mentioned that. Yeah, Pristine looks good. It is flashy up close and personal, but it's the fact of how are they able to get so far and so close.
And with that, I mean, that putting the cap on 3 ECC wins in a row, I think the Pioneers showing that they're here and they're here to stay despite weathering the storm of changes, adjustments, graduations, and the like. They bring Joey in to this roster for this season, and they come out on top once again. I think that staying power, that consistency is something that we just haven't seen here in this division, that we haven't been able to see. I mean, as I was saying, like, the Pioneers actually wanted to kind of deny that possibility to SNHU, who were kind of the previous tone setters for this division. They come out and they show that they can do what others could not before them, which I think is it's super cool. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's awesome to see indeed. Now you got to look towards next semester. Can they do it again? Can they go for 4 and really cement that legacy? Though I argue they certainly already have. Fantastic series, a best of 5 that goes their way. You got to give love to the Network Esports U for putting it on in the first place. Chance for us to jump in and see it. Of course, the East Coast Conference for running the season all season long.
Yeah, and it's been a pleasure getting to hang out alongside you, Kat. It's been a lot of fun. Of course, Colton pushing the buttons behind us as well. And you know what? With that, I think we're just about done. It's been a pleasure to talk things over here. And on behalf of Esports U, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the holidays. We'll see you next time.